What's up, guys? My name's Captain Dave, and welcome back to the Captain's Quarters, the video in which I go through and answer all of your questions and comments from last time's video. So, this week we are kicking things off with Sheik Nabi, who has, holy hell, has quite a lot of questions. So, I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer all your questions. Unless you hear me announce another name, assume they're all from Sheik Nabi. So, start things off. You asked, Dave, do you ever wanted to watch the Flash or Arrow TV show? Yeah, I do definitely plan on watching them at some point. Actually, funny enough, just a couple of weeks ago, I actually sat down to start watching Arrow. Like, my plan was I was going to watch the first 2 seasons of Arrow, and then I was going to watch Arrow and Flash in tangent, like episode 1 of Arrow, episode 1 of Flash, episode 2, and vice versa, so on and so forth. That was the original idea, because I believe that's how it went with regards to TV. You had two series of Arrow, and then Flash and Arrow were both at the same time. There'd been like 1 or 2 crossover episodes as well, so I want to make sure like I get them in the right order, and I don't want to watch just Arrow and then just Flash. I'd like to actually get the full experience. So anyway, that was the plan. A couple of weeks ago, I sat down to watch Arrow, and there's a fly in front of me. A fly just got like all up in my face then, and I didn't enjoy it. But I bet it's too small for the camera to pick up as well, so it looked like I was just wafting a fart in front of my face. He's back! I lost where I was. Oh yeah, so I was going to start watching Arrow, and then in England, the Agent Peggy Carter Marvel series wasn't picked up in England by any TV network, so I've never got to watch it. And I didn't want to watch it online. I wanted to see if a TV company was actually going to pick it up, because I like watching things on TV. And they never have. So I went to go and watch Arrow, and when I went to the website that I was going to watch Arrow on, I saw that they had all episodes of Peggy Carter, including episode 1, which for some reason every website had all episodes except for episode 1. I don't know why that was. It was really weird. So I finally found they had it all, and I really wanted to watch that before I got into another big thing like Arrow or Flash, or since that was a small limited run, I really wanted to watch it. And so I sat down and I watched about 2 or 3 of the episodes, and then I called it quits there because I was going to the midnight release of Batman Arkham Knight. I joke you not, the very first advert that came on the second I stopped watching Agent Carter was an advert for Agent Carter now coming to Fox in the UK. And I was just like, really? Like, such Dave luck. Like, I've been waiting months and months and months, and no TV network has been showing any signs of picking up Agent Carter. I finally bite the bullet and stream it online. The very first advert I see after watching it was an advert for Peggy Carter. I was just like, classic Dave luck. Like, you wait that long, I finally bite the bullet, watch it online, and there it is, on TV. So, but anyway, no, so getting back to what I was saying, yeah, I do plan on watching Arrow and Flash. Like, watch the first 2 seasons of Arrow, and then watch Flash and Arrow in tangent to get the whole experience. Before I jump into something like that big, I want to watch Agent Carter first. But there's a few other things that it's not really taking like the main focus of my time. Like, that was a couple of weeks ago I watched Agent Carter, and I haven't watched an episode since. Not because it's boring, not because I didn't enjoy it, just because obviously I'm playing the hell out of Batman Arkham Knight, and I've been reading a lot of comics recently. I've actually, saying that, I've actually been reading a hell of a lot of comics recently. I have been reading all the way over here. I have been reading Spider-Verse. I think in like my last Captain's Quarters, I showed you guys that I had purchased Spider-Verse. But yeah, I finished reading it, and it was it was cool. It was alright. Was it everything I thought it was going to be? Nah, maybe not. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what I was expecting, but it was a cool story. I liked it. I liked seeing all the different Spider-Men. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna give anything away for those who read Spider-Verse, but it was like, it was cool in some aspects, getting all these different Spider-Man, like 2099, Noir, Ultimate Spider-Man, like, it was like Spider-Gwen, like, it was cool having all these different versions of Spider-Man come together. It was really awesome. However, at the same time, it was kind of cool and kind of a bit quirky and kind of a bit of breaking the immersion, because they also had Spider-Man, the cartoon Spider-Man, and like the 60s cartoon Spider-Man, and like the black and white anime ones and stuff like that. So it was cool, it was kind of funny, and at the same time it was really, it kind of broke the immersion a little bit. Like, you had I think it was in like one of the Spider-Man team-up like tie-ins to this. You had Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales with the Ultimate Spider-Man from the TV show on like Disney, and that fly is back again. Like, there's 2 of them. They're teaming up. Windelius, was this you? You, Sven? Like, you. I know you guys. But, anyway. Like, so you had Ultimate Miles Morales. These flies, man. Every time I start talking, I'll just... Anyway. Like, you had Ultimate Miles Morales and then the Ultimate Spider-Man from the Disney TV show. So, it was kind of weird. It was, like, funny and quirky, but at the same time kind of breaking the immersions. Then you had, like, 60s Spider-Man, and it was all drawn in the 60s Spider-Man, like, cartoon style, so... It was cool, but, the main actual issue, like, the main, I think, how many issues was it? The main, 9 to 15, so 6 issues, was, is it 6? No, 7, no, 7 issues, my bad, there's an epilogue as well, so, yeah, like, the main 7-issue core of, Spider-Verse was cool, it was alright. I would recommend reading the tie-ins with it, though, because they say you don't have to, but there's a lot of backstory stuff that is kind of cool. Like, you had, the backstory with 2099, like, during the thing, like, several different Spider-Men went off on different missions. Like, you had a 2099 who went off doing his own missions, Spider-Woman did their own missions, and also there was, like, there was, like little team-up events, like, as I said, like Miles Morales and, like, the Ultimate Spider-Man from the cartoons. And then you also had, like, the Scarlet Spiders, basically all the clones teamed up and went and did stuff as well. So, you don't have to read them, but I would recommend it, just because they add a lot to the backstory of what's gone on, so... But yeah, the actual, like, main event, the main core event, it was cool. It was, I did enjoy it. I don't know, I guess I must have thought in my mind it was going to be, like, a little bit more that... I don't really know what I was expecting, but it was a cool story. Just, I guess I must have hyped it in my head a bit too much, but I don't even know how I started talking about this, because you were asking me about Arrow and Flash, so I don't know how I've just started talking about Spider-Verse, but no, like, I've been on a tear recently. I read Spider-Verse. I also just finished reading Young Avengers, the Child's Crusade that I've had, like, as part of that comic collection over there, where my thumb's wiggling, for quite a while, and I finally got around to reading it, and that was quite a cool story. And I've just now, as of this morning, started reading Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm about 7 issues in, and I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, and I love the fact that right now, on the digital subscription, there's loads of Miles Morales, like 30-odd issues or so I've got loads to read. I'm really happy about that, so... But yes, like, I've been busy reading quite a lot of comics, but I'll get to Arrow and Flash at some point, but... Anyway, moving on with some of Sheik Nabee's comments. Batman Arkham Knight is a hell of a fun next-generation console game. Hell yes. Yes, you're completely right. Batman Arkham Knight is actually a very fun game. And in actual fact, before I talk anything about Arkham Knight, I want to say to you, like, a few guys, like, quite a lot of questions. I browse through these before I read them, but quite a few of the questions are... talking about the game, talking about the plot of the game, talking about a lot of stuff that actually happens in Arkham Knight. And before I started this, I was kind of umming and ahhing a little bit about whether I should answer these questions, whether I should try and be vague answering these questions, because I know a lot of you guys haven't played Arkham Knight yet. Some of you guys might be waiting to play it on your own. Some of you guys might be waiting to watch my walkthrough of it. So you don't want any spoilers. So I was thinking to myself that maybe I wouldn't answer those questions for now, and I'd start next week. But then it occurred to me, like, no matter how long I wait, there's always going to be people who haven't played Arkham Knight or are waiting for my walkthrough or stuff like that. So basically, I've come to the realization, if you guys want to ask me a question about Arkham Knight, I will answer it here in Captain's Quarters. But if you don't want anything spoiled for you, the best thing I can suggest is just, like, skip forwards about a minute or so in the video, and if I'm still talking about it, skip forwards another video, another minute, and if I'm still talking about it, just keep skipping forwards, like, a minute at a time. If I'm still talking about it, and just skip forwards another minute. Like, it's the only way I can really fairly do this, because if I'm worried about spoiling it for people, then nobody would ever get to ask me a question about Arkham Knight, and at the same time, if I just answer all the questions... If I wait a week or wait another week, there's still going to be people I'm ruining it for. So, I basically come to the realization, if you guys want to ask me Arkham Knight questions, I will ask them. But if you don't want to hear anything about it, then I will tell you before I read out a question about Arkham Knight, so they're not to spoil it. And that way you can skip forwards in the video if you don't want it ruined for you. It's the only really workaround I can think of. Like, it's the only solution I can think that really helps all people, because there's like videos or podcasts or stuff that I normally listen to that I've either had to skip listening to or I have to skip forwards in the video because they talk about comics, they might talk about Secret Wars, and obviously I haven't read those yet, so I don't want it spoiled for me, so I have to sort of skip forwards in the video, and that's the only thing I can really suggest. Like, keep skipping forward a minute at a time, and if I'm still talking about it, then just skip forwards again. But yeah, so yeah, as you said, like, Batman Arkham Knight is a great game, and I personally think it's one of my favourites out of the entire series. Like, I was gonna say it's on par, or maybe Asylum's just a bit better, but I think that's honestly just because nostalgia. Like, if I was to actually go back and play Asylum now, would I say it's better than Arkham Knight? I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to tell. I'd have to go back and play it again. But the one thing I think Asylum had going for it over the others, other than the fact it was the first, was the fact it all took place on that one tiny island in the Asylum, whereas obviously City Origins and Knight take place over the entire of Gotham or Arkham or what have you. So that was the one thing that I think Asylum had better for it. I liked how it all took place on that one tiny island. I thought it made the story just work a lot better. And there was it was just, I don't know, I just kind of liked it. But Arkham Knight, definitely one of my my favourites out of the entire series, which I was not expecting, but I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's a beautiful game. I think everything worked so seamlessly. Whereas the other games, I finished them, and I was like, that was awesome, but yeah, I was ready to stop playing. Like that, I'm done now. I finished Arkham Knight and I just wanted more. Like, I'm so glad to be doing this walkthrough because I really want to record it. I really want to play it again. So, and that's something the other Batman games didn't do for me. Like, this is the first time I really wanted to play again when I finished. So, yeah. So, like, Arkham Knight, I'm very happy with that game. Moving on, Sheik also asked, Dave, how do you edit your videos? I'm just curious. Okay, so I use some software called Sony Vegas Pro 9, the Platinum Edition, which I shouldn't have really got because, like, Sony Vegas is a fantastic software. Like, I've hardly ever had any problems with it. The only problem is I bought the Platinum version, being an idiot and not doing my research. For some reason, I thought that meant more. It actually meant less. Like, there's less render settings, which kind of sucks. But yeah, so basically what I do is I import my videos into Sony Vegas, and then from there on I can just sort of cut or edit or fade in and fade out and do all the things I want to. In fact, I'll put a link in the description, and I also make a note on my phone so I don't forget to put a link in the description. But I made a video series a long time ago, basically called How to Make a Playthrough or How to Make a Walkthrough or something like that. Where there was a 3-part video where I was showing you guys how I edited my Fallout New Vegas walkthrough, which is very similar to how I edit my Skyrim playthrough / thing. So I'll put a link in the description to that playlist. It's on my channel. You can search for it yourself, but I'll put a link in the description to make life easier. And then there's one video after that where I think I was editing a Spider-Man Shattered Dimension. I just put some music to it and stuff like that. But oh god, open up the wrong thing. Let's make a quick note of this because I will forget because I have the brain. The short-term memory of a cheese sandwich. So how to make a walkthrough with my, oh man, I actually spelled that all correctly with my my sausage fingers. But anyway, so yeah, in the description there'll be a link to that little playlist. I just basically went through and just for I feel it was like 2 hours literally just explained the whole process I went through when editing. So, but yeah, link in the description to that if you guys want to see. I can't wait for Arkham Knight. Well, by the time this video's come out, the first 2 episodes should have already gone live. I mean, as of recording this right now, I'm recording this a lot earlier. Normally I like to record these Captain's Quarters on Saturday, but I'm actually recording this on Friday. So as of this moment, episode 1 of Arkham Knight is uploading at 46%. So obviously by the time you're watching this, it should have already gone live. But yeah, so I hope it was everything you wanted it to be. Holy hell, Dave, what happened to your fingers last time? Yeah, if I haven't showed you guys, they're looking much better now. Like, they're still, like, you can't really see it, like, on camera too well, like, but they're still, they're pretty burnt. Like, the skin's really smooth and shiny on a lot of my fingers, and, like, I don't know, maybe they'll heal, maybe they will scar, who knows, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like, the only one that's still doing bad is my poor little pinky. I got a badder burn than I first realised, but now they're doing fine. Just if you're ever pulling a rope and it starts to burn, let go. Don't hold on. Don't be an idiot like I was. But now they're all right. They're a little bit scarred, but they're fine. I mean, I played through the pain. Like, Batman was worth it. So, Dave, what do you think about the Suicide Squad movie? I'm gonna go see it. Like, if for any of you guys who have watched Segway City, you know that Tommy and then eventually myself have had a few reservations about Segway City. Like, looking at some of the characters and looking at some of the behind-the-scenes sets and stuff like that, we've been a bit about like what's going down. Like, mainly like for myself is the look of Killer Croc. Like, for anyone who's played Arkham Knight, or like maybe like you play, and actually for anyone who's played any of the Arkham games, you know how Killer Croc is supposed to look. Like, or for anyone who's read the comics, but in this, he, I think the best way Tommy explained it was he looks like a cross between Lizard and Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and he really does. So, I'm gonna go watch it. Like, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it regardless. But in saying that, I don't really read DC, and I haven't read Suicide Squad. So, for those, like Tommy does, so for those who are hardcore fans of Suicide Squad, you'd have to ask one of them of their opinions. Like, I couldn't really give an opinion of how Suicide Squad is with regards to like the comics and stuff like that. So, but just from the look of it, like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch it. I'm assuming it's probably going to be a good movie. How it's going to stand up against how it should be, I don't know. Like, it's not really for me to say, but I think it looks like it's going to be all right. It looks like it's going to be a bit of fun. Okay, one last question from me this time. What do you think about the new Green Lantern movie featuring Jon Stewart in 2020? I do not know who Jon Stewart is, so I'm going to Google him right now. You can't. It's not that Jon Stewart, is it? Like, you don't mean Jon Stewart as in the Daily Show Jon Stewart. You don't mean that Jon Stewart, do you? With regards to that, I have no idea. However, in the last episode of Segway City, me and Tommy were talking about how Tyrese Gibson was up for the role, as well as Chris Pine as well. So, with regards to that, like the 3 Green Lanterns, I think originally there's actually I was informed there's supposed to be 5 Green Lanterns on Earth, but I think this movie said it was going to focus on 3 Green Lanterns on Earth. One possibly being Tyrese Gibson, another one possibly being Chris Pine, and I don't know who the third is. I really doubt it's Jon Stewart, unless there's 2 people called Jon Stewart. But if it's the Daily Show Jon Stewart, then I doubt it. But maybe there's 2 people called Jon Stewart. Who knows? But okay, please don't ignore this question, because when I saw your view count for your last Segway City podcast, it was only at 1 view. Oh yeah, you probably must have got there pretty soon, because obviously when the video first goes live, it takes a little while for it to gain any traction. But yeah, it's got like 500 views now, so it's doing fine. Sonic FTW said, introducing the amazing Ventman, destroyer of vents. Oh, I know who you are. Sorry, just needed to say our inside joke. I'm the guy who sent you the picture on Twitter of Spider-Man in the vents. Yeah, I clocked you straight away. But I want to know if you could do the Lego Batman or Shattered Dimensions again, because I saw a tweet saying you'll play Shattered Dimensions, Lego, DC or Marvel Ultimate Alliance. But I don't mind what you play. So yeah, like for anyone who's curious what that comment was about, Sonic FTW sent me quite a funny picture on Twitter of he'd finally got the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and one of the first things that happened was he managed to web swing and fall right into a vent, and was sort of like stuck in like the web swinging position in a vent, and it, I don't know, made me chuckle, made me laugh at least. But yeah, so like with regards to the walkthroughs, yeah, like I have no idea of like the exact order. I mean, like as of right now, obviously I'm doing Batman Arkham Knight, Skyrim, and finishing up The Walking Dead just on Wednesdays. After I'm finished with Arkham Knight, the plan is probably Ultimate Alliance. I'm probably going to redo the Ultimate Alliance walkthrough, and then after that, who knows? Could start the Lego Batman series, because play like all 3 of them. I could start Lego Avengers. I could start Lego Jurassic World. I could also start Shattered Dimensions or Edge of Time. Like, I don't know. I've got quite a few games that I want to do right now, so I don't know which order they're going to go in. But as of right now, definitely Arkham Knight and then Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Like, things could change in the future, but as of right now, probably Ultimate Alliance after Arkham Knight. But who knows? Who knows? Jack Rogers said, "Are you going to play Marvel Heroes? If you're talking about like that, the online like MMO sort of game, probably not." Like, I don't know, it crossed my mind when I first heard about it, but I don't know, I just really haven't seen anything about it, and the things that I have seen about it, I just haven't really been that interested, so probably not. Like, I don't know, you never know what's going to happen down the line, but unlikely. Tactical Gibbon 1 said, "Hey Dave, I've been watching your Shattered Dimensions walkthrough and was wondering what Spider-Man you would like to be, 2099, Noir, Amazing, or Ultimate?" I've always loved, like, Ultimate Spider-Man. like Peter Parker, Ultimate Spider-Man. As I say, like, I've only just started reading Miles Morales, but I've always loved Peter Parker, Ultimate Spider-Man. That, I think, is hands down my favourite comic book series. Like, Ultimate Spider-Man was just fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It was so well done. And I was actually heartbroken, like, when they killed Peter Parker in Ultimate Spider-Man. And that's not, like, if I, like, saying that's not a spoiler. But anyone who goes, oh my god, I didn't know, like, if you were to read Ultimate Spider-Man, there's no way you can start reading it without knowing that's coming, because, like, there is a big, like, the first time you click on it, the last, like, 7 issues will be the first thing appeared, or all called Death of Spider-Man. Like, there's no way you can't know about that. So, but, like, Ultimate Spider-Man Peter Parker was just so good. It was so fantastic. I loved every second of it. So, a part of me wants to say Ultimate Spider-Man, but, I think at the end of the day, I'd have to be Amazing. Just because, one, he's still alive, for starters. Like, that's always going to get one in the win column. Like, the fact he's actually alive. But, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Like, 2099 on Noir, like, probably not Noir. Like, if I had to choose between living in the past or living in the future, I'd probably live in the future. But, I don't know. Probably Amazing, but just for pure love of the series, I'm going to say Ultimate. So... Sheik the Bee, Sheik the Bee's back, said, dude, there was a sword in Skyrim called Windshear, which in turn staggers all enemies from human to giants and even dragons. Oh, might have to keep a lookout for that then. Tactical Gibbon once said, best Robin impression. Did I do a Robin impression last week? I don't remember doing that, but if I did, thanks. I guess. Yusuf Yasir said, what's up, Dave? How's it going? It's going great, man. Thanks. How's it going for you? I'm so excited for Arkham Knight. It's downloading on my PC, and I'm playing all the other Arkham games to hype myself up. So, my questions are related to Arkham Knight. Alright, so before I start answering these, Yusuf Yasir has actually asked that I answer these without spoiling it, so there we go, that's pretty good. But first thing I want to ask is, how is it on PC? Because I have heard many bad things about Arkham Knight on PC. So my question first is to you, Yusuf. How is Arkham Knight on PC? Has it been fixed? Is it still bad? Like, how's it going? Because I heard apparently it was barely workable on PC. So let me know, like, what's gone on there. But okay, so I'm going to answer your questions, and Yusuf says asked I answer them without spoiling it. So fair enough. Without spoiling it, was the Arkham Knight who you thought it was? Yes, it was. I didn't think, like, I'm going to answer this without spoiling any Arkham Knight, so you don't need to flick through the video at all. But I had no idea who it was. Like, I was playing the game religiously, non-stop. One, because I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I really wanted to. But mainly because I didn't want it ruined for me. And I'd say about halfway through the game, I clocked. I didn't know, like, it definitely was that person, but that was my main suspect. Like, I was thinking, I think it's this person. Like anyone who's actually played Arkham Knight, you can probably think of the moment I'm talking about. But there was somebody who got revealed, and I was just like, like, that would make sense. Like, that just, I don't know, it made sense. They'd never been mentioned before, and now suddenly they kept getting mentioned, and I just kept thinking, like, it just makes sense. Like, I kept flicking back and forth. I actually kept thinking, oh, actually, maybe it's this person, maybe it's that person. But the person who it was the person I kept coming back to. So, I don't know, I was kind of glad when it turned out it was them, and at the same time I was kind of a bit like, oh, because I, in a sense, ruined it for myself by figuring it out, so, but... number 2, was the game easy or hard? It was actually right in that sweet spot. There's, like, sometimes I find a game fun, but I'm like, wow, that wasn't, like, challenging in the slightest. Like, I figured out what I had to do, and I did it with ease. And other games are just so hard they're not fun. Like, you're just, like, banging your head, like, oh my god. Like, you might complete a mission, and you didn't do it the way you were supposed to. You kind of just fell off the edge and got there, and you're like, oh, well, sod it, I don't care. Arkham Knight was this lovely sweet spot. I played on normal difficulty, and I found some of the missions were really hard. Like, quite often, I found myself dying just because of, like, beginner trap things. Like, quite a lot of Riddler stuff. They were, like, booby traps, and, like... unless you knew what you were doing, like, the odds are you're going to die the first 1 or 2 times, because it is a trap. But, I found, other than stuff like that, I found it was difficult to the point where I may have found, like, I died a few times or something like that, but it wasn't aggravating. It was just more like, I died and I was like, man, I messed up there. Like, that was my fault. I sucked at that particular point. Like, it was just the right amount of difficulty where I finished it and I was... there was that sense of achievement, but it wasn't that sense of, oh my god, finally. It was just like, oh yes, done it. Like, but I was still enjoying it at that point. It hadn't got to that point where it was monotonous and I just wanted to complete the level, so it was nice. It was that nice little sweet spot of, like, difficulty, but still enjoying, so. Number 3, do you think they should have put in either multiplayer or co-op mode? Yes and no. Like, in Arkham Origins, the multiplayer was fun, but barely functioning. Like, I don't know if it was a connection issue or just because that fewer amount of people were playing the multiplayer in Arkham Knight, in Arkham Origins, but I found like every game I played, I was paired with somebody in Japan, in America, in Taiwan, like all over the world. So the connection was awful, and I think it was either a problem with the matchmaking system, or it was a problem with the fact that just so little people were playing it. Like, they were the best connections you could get. So that did hinder it a little bit. Like, you'd go to take someone down and then suddenly they weren't there because it had just lagged. Or, like, you'd be shooting someone and then they'd turn around and kill you because the connection was so awful. So there was a lot of laggy, buggy problems with the Arkham Origins multiplayer. But it was still kind of fun. I think if they were to implement anything, a co-op would have been better than a multiplayer. Like, I don't know, kind of like, in a sense, maybe like the Spec Ops missions, like in the Call of Duty's franchise, where you could be like Batman and Robin, or Batman, Robin and Nightwing and Catwoman. Like, it could be a 4-player multiplayer, like it could be like a 4-player co-op, and you can either like sort of like an Ultimate Alliance kind of thing. So like you can choose which character you want to be, and the other 2 are still there anyway, but they don't really do much if you're not controlling them. And you need all 4 of them to complete that particular mission, like maybe Catwoman to go on a ceiling, and Batman to mache on a vent, or what have you. Like, that would have been really cool. But a co-op thing where you're not against each other, like a separate mission, like that would have been pretty cool. I would have liked that, especially seeing as how quite a lot of the adverts built up the hype of like Nightwing and Robin and Catwoman and Oracle, and like they built up these characters, and it was sort of like those, and there was that "Those Who Follow You" trailer as well. I thought that the other characters and like something like multiplayer was going to be a big thing, but yeah, a multiplayer thing would, like a co-op kind of multiplayer thing would have been really cool, like as a side feature. But at the end of the day, like if it was a choice between putting in a co-op and a multiplayer, and maybe lacking in the story a little bit, like, I love the way the game came out, so I'd much rather not have multiplayer and co-op and have this game as awesome as it is now, as opposed to putting in multiplayer and co-op and maybe risking or ruining the outcome of how the game actually turned out. So, like, a co-op would have been cool, but I'm more than happy with the way it went. Like, like earlier on in this week, before I started doing the walkthrough, I was sitting there collecting Riddler trophies, and me and my mate Magic Mike, who you'll probably see in the scoreboard of my Arkham Knight walkthrough. There you go, there is your shout out, Mike. Congratulations. Everyone go at him on Xbox Live. Magic Mike 94. Just go at him. I'm sure he would love to get 1,000 invites. Just But yeah, like the other day, like he was like we were chatting online, and both of us were like in our own separate games trying to figure out and collect these Riddler trophies. It was a hell of a lot of fun. So like, do I wish there was co-op? Like, yeah, it would be cool, but at the same time, like, you can still have fun with your mates playing Batman. You don't actually both have to be in the same game. Like, you just both go to the same location and try and solve the same Riddler stuff at the same time. Like, I had a hell of a lot of fun. I thought it was awesome. Okay, so number 4, without spoiling it, can you summarise the Arkham Knight by giving him a brief description? I'm probably not going to answer that one, because like, as much as I say, like, I won't ruin it, or if I am going to spoil something, skip ahead in the video, like, that's just sort of like that's just hinting at who the Arkham Knight is. Like, that, it's not really a question. That's just spoilers for the sake of spoilers. So I won't answer that last one. But thanks for answering. Keep up the vids. Yeah, we'll do, man. Tattoo Gibbon 1 said your Spider-Man tattoo looks amazing. Thank you very much. I didn't even know about Mass Effect Andromeda until you talked about it in Segway City. Super excited for that. I love the Mass Effect games, 2 being my favourite. What about you? So, like, you guys know how much I love Mass Effect. Like, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm just glad right now there's things to take my attention away from Mass Effect, so I don't literally count down the seconds until Andromeda comes out, Christmas time 2016. So, but yeah, like, I like the trailer. It was only like a teaser, cinematic trailer for Andromeda, but man, like I'm excited for it. I'm really looking forward to it. Like you said, number 2 was your favourite. If I had to pick out of all of them, then yeah, I'd also say 2's my favourite. But I've always said, like, number 1 I think was fantastic story. Like, the story was so good and so well orchestrated, the way everyone came together, and of course being the first also helps, because it's the first time you're seeing something like that. Well, obviously in 2 and 3 it's sort of a labyrinth repeat with the fact of, oh yeah, now we're going to build up a squad, a crew, whereas in Mass Effect 1 maybe you didn't know that was the way it was going to go. So I've always said Mass Effect 1's story and just the feel and the tone was fantastic. Number 2 I think was the best combination of everything. Like number 1 had the best story, I feel. Number 3 had the best gameplay. I think the combat system, the way your character moved, like, I think that was all done really well. However, the story was good, but it wasn't as good as, say, 1 or 2, in my opinion. And also, that's also, I think, always true with the end of a trilogy anyway, because you're rounding everything up. There's nothing new really coming. You're just rounding up all the loose ends, so. But, I always say, number 3, they had the gameplay and the combat down really well. Number 1, the story was fantastic, and I think number 2 is the best combination of the story and the gameplay. Like, the gameplay was vastly improved from number 1 to number 2, and the story was also really awesome. But I think what number 2 shined in the most was the building up the relationships and the camaraderie between you and your squad mates. Not only was the squad mates that doubled, like I think it was 12 squad mates, maybe 13 once you had DLC, like I can't remember exactly, but the squad mates was doubled in Mass Effect 2, and then again brought back down to the 6, 7 in Mass Effect 3. So the fact you can get more squads, you're building up this crew, these ragtag groups of heroes and villains or more heroes and misled individuals, I should say, to like go and save the galaxy on this secret mission. Like, I thought that was really cool. I love that idea. I've always loved that sort of idea, and it did a lot more to build up your relationship with your squad. Like Mass Effect 1, you could go and talk to your squad, but unless you embarked on another main mission, you just get the same conversation off them again. Whereas in Mass Effect 2, you could do a side mission, you can just do a loyalty mission, you could do whatever, and there'll be something new to ask them. There'll be something new to talk about when you go down and see your squad. So Mass Effect 2 went leaps and bounds with regards to that relationship, that emotional response you had with all the other characters. And like, for anyone who played Mass Effect 2 and they lost a squad mate, like in the suicide mission, like, I don't know about you guys, but for me that would have been heartbreaking. Like, all mine survived, you know they did, but I would have been gutted if someone died. It would be like losing like a friend, like someone you actually knew in real life. Because let's face it, like those games, like what was saying, like 150 hours, like 100 hours long, like that's a long time spent. And even though they're not real, you get to know them, and you still have that emotional reaction if they die. Like, as I said, like with Ultimate Spider-Man Peter Parker, like I was gutted when he died, because I had spent months and months and months spending every night just reading comic after comic after comic. So when they killed him off, it was heart-wrenching, it was horrible. And that was like Mass Effect 2 did so well, like. And that's the thing, it was the best combination. Like, the gameplay was much better than 1, and the story was, it was just awesome. So, but yeah. Tactical Gibbon 1 also said, Dave, your cat Frank was working for Wendelius. Yeah, well, last week, we had the cat working for Wendelius. Now this week, it seems like we had those 2 flies working for Wendelius. They've gone now, so I'm safe. I'm safe for now. But, alright, moving on. So, Jim Jenks said, Arkham Knight spoilers. So, alright, so there's a few questions here which, let's have a look. Yeah, so there's a few questions here that are talking about key moments in the game. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer these. And if you guys don't want spoilers, then what I say is I suggest you just like skip a minute on, and if I'm still talking about it, skip a minute on until I'm done talking about it. Because if I don't answer them this week, I'm going to get questions next week. And if I don't answer them next week, I'm going to get questions the week after. So that's the best thing I can really suggest. So, right, moving on. You have been warned, everyone. Number 1, where does Arkham Knight rank for you in the series? So, Jim Jenks' list was Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins. Yeah, my list would probably actually be the same as yours, except for Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Origins, then Arkham City. Because I don't know what it was. I think I might need to go back and play Arkham City, but I just wasn't a huge fan of it. I don't know why. I don't think it was because that was where I was coming off the back of playing like the Arkham games a hell of a lot, having just done the Arkham Asylum walkthrough and whatnot. But it was just something really bland and dreary about it, and I don't know, I kind of felt like all I was doing was putting out fires all over the spot, and I felt like I lost track of like the main story, like the main arc. which was not what I thought. I didn't feel that in Origins or Night. Like, I just felt with City, I just felt like it was just everything's happening, and it was a bit like, all right, like, because there was so many big things happening. You could pick wherever you went, like you can in any of them. But I felt like in Origins and Night, like, you had this one main thing that was happening, and you had a whole bunch of other stuff that you could also do, like your Most Wanted. But I don't know, it felt like in City, these other big things that were happening were really huge, and I felt sometimes it kind of overshadowed the main story a little bit, and it just felt like there was so much going on. Like, I don't know, something about it that just didn't really sit well with me, I guess. But yeah, I'd say the same as you. Like Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Origins, and then Arkham City. Right, so number 2, like, this one is a huge spoiler for Arkham Knight. So if you do not want it spoiled for you, I'd say skip ahead a minute or 2 ahead and just go from there. Because, like, there's one name in particular I'm going to say which will be a huge spoiler. So you have been warned, guys. Right, so, number 2, how did you like Joker's implementation in the game? I was so happy to have him back, especially the song and dance routines. I just sat there for 5 minutes listening to it. So, yeah, like, I completely agree with you in that aspect, like, Jim. Like, that moment, the bit where you're talking about the song and dance routine, I was in hysterics. I thought that was so funny. I can't wait till I get to that bit in the walkthrough. I think it's going to be fantastic, but, yeah, like, I thought it was cool. Like, what's even better is the developers came out and they kept saying, every time people ask them questions, they were like, no, he's dead, no, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. And it was good because they weren't lying. They technically were not lying. But, like, I thought it was cool. I thought it made so many aspects of the game so good. Like, every time Batman was doing something, there's a serious undertone. And there he would just be standing leaning against the wall like, geez, Bat, what happened back there? Like, it was so cool. Like, I think, other than the song and dance routine, which you're, like, I just did defuse bombs. I just stood there, like, the whole time because I just wanted to listen to that song. It was so good. But, I think that one of the best lines that he came up with in that entire game was, when something went wrong or something bad happened, and he was like, how was the exact line he said? I don't want to butcher it. He said, he was something like, geez, Baz. He was like, that was as bad an idea, or that went just as bad as Take Your Kids to Work Day, or like the Flying Graysons, or something like that. It was just it was so fantastic. The way he says it was just, perfection. It had me in hysterics. Like, I thought he was a great feature in the game. It added this nice light undertone. Like, even though it was really dark humor he'd come out with, it was just such a breath of fresh air. Because, like, he always had that sort of thing during the main stories. It was nice as every now and then something would happen, and then he would just crack one line, and you just like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, but no, I loved it. I thought the implementation was fantastic. So. Number 3, what did you think of the way they handled Arkham Knight in this game and the reveal? I guess the identity very early on, but the reveal was done perfectly, so I really enjoyed it. So, like, yeah, so, like, again, spoilers, but, yeah, I guess the identity of the Arkham Knight, I'd say about halfway through the game. Like, there was a character they introduced as, not as a main thing, but they just introduced him, in a sense, and I thought to myself, they've never really spoken about this in any of the 3 games that came previously, and now they keep talking about it, so I thought to myself, like, yeah, like, this has got to mean something, and it was the only character I could think of, all the characters in the game, that not only would have a reason to, but could potentially be doing this, because any other character was had too much of a presence in the game to also be being the Arkham Knight, so I felt that was the only character that could be that, so. But yeah, like, the reveal was done really well, and it was handled really well. And there was one bit towards the end as well, like, obviously when he takes the mask off and it's the reveal of who the Arkham Knight is, where I suddenly clocked, like, it all fell into place. Like, I had a feeling who it was, but I forgot that character has an alter identity as well, as like an anti-hero. And it only then clocked that that was who it was going to be. Like, I always knew I knew who the character was going to be, like the person, but then the superhero they would be afterwards just didn't occur to me. So, like, as vague as a description as that kind of was, like, yeah, like, I liked it. I thought it was all done so well. It was nice. It wasn't glaringly obvious. Like, I had my suspicions, but it wasn't one of those stories where, like, everyone's sitting there like, yeah, it's obviously this person. Like, you talk to different people, and some will be like, yep, I knew. Some will be like, I have my suspicions. Some will be like, I had no idea. It wasn't one of those ones where everyone just knew. Like, I liked they played it close to their chest. I thought it was kind of cool. But anyway, so moving on, and I don't think there's any spoilers from now on. So, Jim Jenks said, also, are you going to do the Red Hood and the Harley Quinn story packs? Granted, they will only be one video each, but I would like to see you playing them. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing them. I got both the Red Hood and the Harley Quinn for like pre-ordering it and getting it in store and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'll definitely be playing them. The Red Hood DLC is hilariously brutal. Like, you just play the whole game being like, the Arkham Knight, I will not kill. I am the symbol of justice and all that sort of stuff. And then the Red Hood just appears, and it's like, tap LT to stop a charging attacker. And he just whips out his pistols and kills them. I sat there, I was like, whoa! Out of nowhere, just... He's so brutal, but it was really funny. And then, of course, you're talking about brutal. You got the Harley Quinn story pack as well. So no, I'll definitely I'll be doing both of them probably when the walkthrough's done. So, but yeah, it was very funny. I thought it was quite entertaining. So. Jim Jenks also said, have you been reading any Spider-Man since the return of Peter Parker? If so, how do you like it? So yeah, like I mentioned, like obviously previously in this that I'd been reading Spider-Verse. Like that's the most up-to-date I am. Like the very end of Spider-Verse. That's the most up-to-date I'm going to be for a while, because I started reading, after Superior Spider-Man, I started reading the Amazing Spider-Man again, and read everything up to that, the original Sin tie-ins as well, and then I've just read Spider-Verse. Other than that, there's no more that have gone up on the Marvel Digital subscription yet, so that's the most up-to-date I'm going to be for a while, so... This sucks, because I love Spider-Man. Like, I read other stuff like the New Avengers, the X-Men, what have you. I read all them, and then I go back to Spider-Man just for an issue or two, and I forget how much I love Spider-Man. Like, he's just so cool. And I think it's not just Spider-Man, I think it's how much I love Peter Parker. Like, the dude's awesome. But, yeah, so, like... That's the most up-to-date I'm going to be for a while, but I normally like to wait until like a good 4 or 5 issues have been uploaded before I go back and read it again, so I'm not just reading one at a time, I can read a few, so... But yeah, the most up-to-date right now is the end of Spider-Verse, and yeah, I like it. Like, it's good to see good old Peter Parker back. Like, as much as I liked... Like, I enjoyed Superior Spider-Man more than I thought I was going to, but it's so good to have Peter Parker back. Like, it just is, like... It's why I said like ages ago when we were talking about like the Quicksilver's representation in X-Men and then in Avengers. Like, you can't have Quicksilver without Pietro Maximoff, and you can't have Spider-Man without Peter Parker. Like, you can have cool versions of Spider-Man like Miles Morales, Ben Reilly, Kane, what's his name, Miguel O'Hara. Like, you can have loads of cool versions of Spider-Man, but like, you can't have Spider-Man without Peter Parker. Like, the main continuity Spider-Man, like, he's got to be Peter Parker. He just has to be, so... But no, I've been enjoying it. Like, it's one of those things that always... It's one of those story arcs that I kind of like and I don't like. Because he's kind of dealing with the fact that Doc Ock has kind of improved and messed up his life at the same time. And he's dealing with the after effects. And everyone thinks the way he was acting was him. And stories like that are kind of cool, because it gives so many new fires for Peter Parker to have to put out in his personal and professional life. Because obviously Superior burnt a lot of bridges with the Avengers as well, so it gives a lot more story content for him to work. He's basically been like plumped back in his life and gone, here's this brand new life you're in, go. And so there's a lot for him to do, but at the same time it's kind of frustrating. It's one of those infuriating storylines, like where we know something that the other characters don't, and it's like a whole hoo-ha. So, but anyway, yeah, so AJ Singh said, Dave, what movies are you going to watch next in the cinema after Batman Arkham... Oh, there's a few questions. Okay, so what movies am I going to watch next in the cinema? I am going to be watching Ant-Man when it comes out. I'll be watching Fantastic Four when that comes out. I will be watching Ted 2. That looks like it's going to be hilarious. I love Seth MacFarlane. The guy's just a comedic genius. Yeah, so Ant-Man, Fantastic Four, Ted 2... San Andreas. I might go watch San Andreas. I don't know if that's actually came out yet. Probably has. I don't know. But yeah, I'll go watch that. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up with the cinema. I don't even really know what else is on at the moment. So, there's a Disney Pixar film coming out soon. Inside Me or Inside Out or something like that. That looks like it's going to be kind of fun too. But I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to the cinema that much. I follow my Marvel and DC news so much, I actually forget to watch other stuff as well. So yeah, so Ant-Man, Ted 2, Fantastic Four. I don't know, I probably like that Inside Me, Inside Out film. Like, that's pretty fun. So and San Andreas, because that just looks like a good old take your brain out disaster film. So after Arkham Knight, what walkthrough are you going to do? Yeah, like I said earlier, probably I'm going to redo my Ultimate Alliance walkthrough. I think that'll be a lot of fun. A lot of you guys were asking for it, and I started playing it just before Arkham Knight came out, and I got really into it again. So yeah, probably something like that. How are you? I'm doing fine, AJ. Thanks for asking. How are you doing, mate? Are you going to play Fallout 4? Probably. Don't start with the New Vegas stuff. Like, I know. I'm probably going to play it. Whether I do a walkthrough of it, probably not. Like, it might be something like Skyrim. Like, Skyrim is going to take so much of my time. So, like, when it's one of those things that in some aspects, I'm kind of like, Dave, why did you start Skyrim? Like, it's going to take so long. But at the same time, I love it. Like, I think it's cool to have something like that. The only reason I wish I hadn't started Skyrim sometimes is because, whereas I could have had, like, say, Arkham Knight and Ultimate Alliance at the same time. Now, Skyrim's going to take up a lot of that time. So, yeah, so like, that's the only reason I regret it. Like, other than that, I love Skyrim. So, but the only thing is, when Skyrim eventually does finish, I might pick it up with another big game. I don't know. Like, so whether I restart and finally do my Fallout New Vegas and I actually go through the whole thing and start it from scratch and actually finish it this time, maybe that's what I'll do when Skyrim's done. Maybe I might do Fallout 4. Like, I don't know, but I think I'm most definitely gonna get Fallout 4 and play it. But whether I do a walkthrough of it, I don't know. Probably not. And if I do, it will be a long time down the line. But I'm definitely going to play Fallout 4. That game looks insanely fun. Have you read any old Amazing Spider-Man comics? I've read some. The problem with the old comics is, like, don't get me wrong, they're like classics, and people who read them when they were current, I can see why they love them so much. But obviously, coming from a point where I've started reading comics late 2000s, but obviously I've read back from like the 90s onwards, you get accustomed to a certain style, and a lot of the older comics, like if I let me go pick one up as an example. Let's just start off really early. Let's start off with number one in my like graphic novel series. Well, actually, there's a part of the graphic novel series. All these ones down here on the bottom shelf, or at least most of them, they after noticing like the success of how much these graphic novels have done, they started doing a classic series, which is just all the old stories. But anyway, so number one in the digital comics thing is Iron Man, Demon in the Bottle. And like, if you look at the arts, not just the art style, but it's kind of like the way, not, oh god, Leon, not just the art. Oh god, I'm really picky with my comics. I hate like sticking my fingers all over them. But like, looking at the art style, and it's not just the art style of how it's done, but it's also the way things are done. So like, whereas in the newer comics they might describe the scene, set the scene like with their thoughts and the way they're communicating. With the older comics, there was a lot of like panels they would have in the top right hand corner, like, and then the Golden Avenger went up to so and so and like did this sort of stuff. So the storytelling capabilities in the older ones is good still. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still good. Like, some of the best stories came from these ones, but it's different. Like, it's different, especially when you get accustomed to the newer stuff. For example, say like Spider-Verse, where not only is the like the art. I was going to open up a page then which had a massive spoiler on it. God, you guys would hate me. But yeah, like I was trying to pick a page that doesn't have a spoiler. Yeah, that would do. But then if you look at, like, say, the art style of a newer comic, which is obviously just absolutely beautiful, and it's all done, like, most of the storytelling is all done through speech and interaction between the characters and stuff like that. So they're two very effective, but also very distinctive and different styles of storytelling. So quite often, if you started from the older issues, and then progressed through, I can see how you could still love them. But obviously, starting a much more advanced style of storytelling and artwork, and then working back, sometimes it can be difficult to read, or like a bit monotonous to read. So now I've read like loads of these, like it's like the Phoenix Saga, and like, I don't know, like the original Secret Wars and all this stuff. There's so many cool original stories. Like, and if I say, like, I'd definitely go suggest reading them if you want to find out this old stuff. But with Spider-Man, I can't remember when I first started. I think the earliest stuff I've read of Spider-Man would be the late 90s, I think. I think that was where I first started. I think Spider-Man kind of got a reboot, and it was like Spider-Man 200, or was it 400? One of them, I don't know, one of them, and it started like almost like a new run of Spider-Man. And I think that was where I first started reading the Marvel digital subscription. I think that was actually one of the first things I started reading after New Avengers. So in fact, actually no, I have read a few older things. Let me look at the old collection again, because up here, let me turn the camera up so you can actually see what I'm doing. There you go, all them up there. That's the rest of them, and more some of like the newer ones as well. But there are some along here, like, come with me, Wire. There are some more ones up here, like, okay, that's actually quite a newer one as well. Yeah, like stuff like down here. You got Kraven's Last Hunt and Spider-Man: Birth of Venom, and like you got some older stories down there, and there's a few older Spider-Man stuff down here. Like, what's this one down there? This one, Spider-Man No More, and stuff like that. Like they're like some of the old classic Spider-Man stories. Which Kraven's Last Hunt I have read. Spider-Man No More I haven't actually read yet. So, oh god, is that back where it was? I can't quite remember. And it's not exactly, but it'll do. So, like, some of the older stories I have read, but as I say, like, the only reason I don't really read some of the older ones is sometimes, well, as I say, when you've been reading these newer comics, you got used to a style of storytelling. It's kind of hard to jump back to the older style of storytelling, but I mean, they're classic Spider-Mans, they're classic stories, some of them back there. It's like, some of them you just have to read, but, yeah, so, like, it was okay, but, like, I much prefer the newer stuff, not because the stories are better, it's just the way the stories are told, I think, are a little bit better. Like, I don't know, keeps me on the edge of my seat a bit more, I guess, and I think a lot of it is also because I'm a sucker for visuals, so the art style's a lot nicer, so, but, that's the thing, like, the stories themselves were fantastic, it's just the way they're told, so, but anyway, everyone has their opinions, I guess, so, yeah, sorry. Fox Smith said, "Who are your top 5 favourite Batman villains that are not Joker?" So my only point of reference for this, bear in mind, obviously I don't read DC. My only point of reference for this is the Arkham games. So obviously I know that a lot of the villains in the Arkham games might be portrayed a hell of a lot differently than they are in the comics, but this is my only point of reference. So based on stuff like the Arkham games, and this camera is actually a lot higher than it should be. Better. So yeah, based on stuff like the Arkham games, I'd say my favourite villains that are not Joker would be... let's think. And like, I'm not saying like they're the best, or like, it's just like ones that I particularly enjoy either going up against, or... I'm trying to think of everyone, not just the big ones, not just the Two-Face and the Penguin, and I'm trying to think of all of them. I would say Riddler. I don't know, do you know what? Because none of them I look at and I'm like, I like you. Like, I would say I like them just because of the variety, and just sometimes it's just that presence and that aura they have. Like Two-Face and Penguin, like they just have to be in this list because they just are just iconic Batman villains. They just really are. They're like if you were to make the Sinister Six of Batman villains, them two would be in there. Like, so I'd say Penguin, Two-Face, Riddler. There's a lot of villains that I don't think really got the time of day, like Killer Croc and stuff like that. So I always I was surprised that Scarecrow was the main villain in Arkham Knight. Like, I always thought he was like B-list villain at best, but I don't know though. Do you know, I'm really drawing a blank on who else there was. Like Bane, like I was never really a huge Bane fan. Ra's al Ghul, like he's like another one of those mystic like characters that everyone seems to love, and I just don't get. Like, I don't know. To be honest, for me, like my favourites just are like your Sinister Six style ones, like Joker, Two-Face, Penguin, Riddler, Poison Ivy, I guess. She was never. It's just the thing. She wasn't really my favourite. There was a few that I actually saw and was like, "You're a cool bad guy." I don't know. Like, I'd say top 3 at least: Riddler, Two-Face, Penguin. Like, I like those guys. No, anyone else that I think of, I'm just like, meh. Like, when you dispose of them in the games, you're just like, yeah, like, whatever, dude. Like, I beat ya. That's the end of that. So. Yeah, like there's nobody else that I can really say that I was just like, yeah, villain, like you're cool, like Mr. Freeze, like, I don't know. Say them for top 3, I don't know. The General of Fire, Cap, do you have a Snapchat? If so, can we follow you? I do have a Snapchat, but it's just like a personal one. Like, if I ever set up a Snapchat for like I don't know, yeah, a public Snapchat, like a Captain of Dave Snapchat, then yeah, I'll let you guys know, and then I'll just send stupid Snapchats. Like, I've actually saying that actually, but yeah, like, sorry, I'll get back. I'll finish what I was saying before I move on. But yeah, like my Snapchat right now is just personal. It's just between friends and family and stuff like that. So, but no, for a long time, I have actually been thinking about doing a channel which is just like a personal channel. Which instead of gameplay, instead of vlogs, instead of like regular content, it's just a channel in which I just upload silly stuff from my average day, whether it's me messing around with a cat, or something funny in my house, or I'm just bored, or me and my girlfriend messing around, like, just stupid stuff. Just that's about me, and it's got nothing to do with comics, or gameplay, or serious regular updates, or none of this sort of stuff. It's just a silly personal channel about me and my life. I was thinking about doing something like that, just as a casual thing on the side. Like, would that be something you guys would be interested in? Like, do you just care about comics and gameplay, and I'm the one who delivers it? Or would you actually be interested in watching that sort of stuff? I mean, you asked about Snapchat, so I assume you probably must be a little bit. But yeah, I was thinking about setting up that, just like a silly little side channel, just upload silly, stupid videos that I have in my day. So, I mean, the amount of videos my girlfriend has of me, where she's just royally made me look like an idiot. Like, where she's recording me and I'm reading a comic and I have no idea what's going on. Or I'm in a room and she just walks in and records me and I have no idea what's going on, or scares the hell out of me, or... There's so many videos like that. So I don't know, like, is that something you guys would be interested in seeing? I mean, if it is, I don't see why I can't set it up, but yeah, let me know. Like, guys, like, if you guys are interested, let me know. Is that something you guys would be interested in seeing? Like, just a personal channel, like a side thing, which is every now and then I upload just some stupid stuff that's been happening in my real life. Like, let me know. Lucas, I can never pronounce your last name, said, could you show us your movie collection? Oh man, no. Like I don't have any movies behind me right now, but my movie collection is insanely huge. Like, those shelves you see behind me right now, when I lived with my parents, the entire thing, I had that one, and I had the one above it, which was just all movies, and even then I ran out of room and had to start piling them up on the floor. Because when I was a teenager, I used to just buy movies. Like, if one looked good and it was only like £2, I'd be like, yeah, buy it, why not? Like, what the hell? That was before I really got into reading comics, so... I just love stories. I love stories. I really do. I love stories in TV. I love stories in films, in comics, in games. I just love storytelling. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. But, yeah, like, I have so many movies. Like, they're all in my living room now. Like, now I've moved out, but there's just so many of them. Like, we have this massive, like, shelf thing that we have in, like, this cove in the wall. And even then, we've run out. Like, literally, when we moved in, all of the DVDs and videos were mine. And, like, I'd say a fraction of them were Kaylee's. And we've still run out of room, and we've barely bought any more, so, and we still have no more room, so there are far too many. Like, if you thought me reading out just those, like, 30-watt games I have was a lot, like, the films is insane, like, plus my webcam won't stretch the way to the living room, so. Griffin Namaroff said, hey Dave, could you do a walkthrough of these games? I think you would enjoy them. The Halo series, because they are one of my favourite game series, and they have a decent story and some characters I think you would love. The Dragon Age trilogy, because they are made from the same people who made Mass Effect, and they have stories. Though don't get discouraged from the first one's gameplay. Lastly, could you do a walkthrough of The Last of Us? It has one of the best stories I have seen in a game. Well, that question was really well timed, weren't it? I was just talking about how much I love stories, and then you list a bunch of games that got really fantastic stories. It's almost as if you knew, Griffin. It's almost as if you knew. But Halo... I know a lot of people love Halo, but probably because I always grew up with a PlayStation, I never played the Halo games. But I have no interest in really playing Halo, to be honest. I've heard the stories are really cool, but I'd either have to go back and play from Halo 1 or just jump in at some point in the franchise. In all honesty, out of like all the games and films and TV programs and comics that I want to play and watch, like, I don't see the point of throwing in a new one into that. So like, I have no interest in really playing Halo. However, Dragon Age Trilogy, I have a huge interest in playing Dragon Age. I've been saying it for like a long time now, like way over a year that I've been wanting to play Dragon Age. So one day I will probably play that. And I won't get put off by like the first one's gameplay. Like, I love the Mass Effect trilogy. The gameplay in the first Mass Effect weren't all that great. So, and I'm assuming they were made roughly at the same time, like the Mass Effect and Dragon Age trilogy. So, but no, like at some point or another, I really do plan on sitting down and just playing through the whole trilogy. So. And I do a walkthrough of The Last of Us. I did, like, when the game first came out, I planned originally to do a walkthrough of The Last of Us. Like, that was my initial intention, and then I left it a little bit, and after time, I was like, nah, I'm not so interested in doing it anymore. So, I don't know. Like, out of all of them, the most likely one is probably the Dragon Age trilogy, but I don't know. I have to add it to that maybe column that I have in those 3 sections of what I will and won't play. Like, I'll add it into the maybe. The Devil of the Fire said, if I was in a zombie apocalypse, I would go on a Navy aircraft because it would hold a year's worth of food. It can run 20 without stopping, and it has electricity. Then I'd find some island, farm there, and make houses or 2 out of wood for us. And use the generators for electricity. Yeah, see, that's a good plan in theory, but like I said last week with your zombie apocalypses, you can make as many plans as you like, but you don't know how that would actually work. Like, you could say, like, oh, I'd go to a Navy aircraft, awesome, but wouldn't that Navy aircraft also be overrun with all the dead people that were originally on there and are now zombies? Or what if there's a bunch of other people who got there first, and they shoot you before you even get on there? Or, what if it is secluded, and it's just you who gets there, but then, would you be able to run it on your own? Like, see, that's the thing, like, zombie apocalypse is, like, survival plans are all good and well, but then in the actual reality, like, would it work? Like, I might be like, I'm gonna go to the middle of a town centre and sit in a supermarket, and I'll have all this food, and it'll be awesome, but then there will be a hell of a lot of dead people there, and a hell of a lot of alive people with guns that will also be trying to go there. Or I could be like, I know, I'll just hold out in my house. That way nobody will try and attack me. Could be all good and well. For all we know, a helicopter could crash on my house. Like, maybe a bunch of zombies will try and get in. Maybe some people will also think, that house looks secluded, I'm going to live there. Like, that's the thing, like, survival plans are all good and well, but in reality, like, it's like with anything in life. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, so just have to go with it. But, luckily, hopefully we'll never have to find out. Like, I really hope none of us are ever going to have to implement our zombie survival plan. Kobe Brown said, hey Dave, when I saw Charlie Plummer, I thought he would be a better Ben Reilly Spider-Man than a regular Peter Parker Spider-Man. Also, what are your top 5 comments? That's actually a really good idea. Like, he does have that Ben Reilly look about himself. Yeah, that'd be actually a cool one. I'd like that. Like, I remember in Segway City, I was saying, like, I was leaning more towards Tom Holland, but when I watched it back, I was looking at it, I was like, actually, I could see Charlie Plummer being a good Spider-Man, but obviously we know that the casting's gone to Tom Holland now, but yeah, that's good. Like, if they ever did, like, the clone thing with Ben Reilly, like, that'd be cool. Like, I think Charlie Plummer would be a good job for that, but so what are my top 5 comics? So I'm guessing you mean, like, the series, like, not just the individual issue. Like, top 5, I would say Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm just going to do a series right now, not like events like Civil War. Do you know what? I'll do 2. I'll do my top 5 Marvel events like Civil War, Secret Invasion, stuff like that, and I'll do my top 5 comics as in series. So I'd say Ultimate Spider-Man is my absolute favourite. I absolutely love that. Followed up by Amazing Spider-Man, obviously. Followed up after that, I want to say New Avengers, like 2004 onwards. The only problem is I haven't read X-Men in such a long time. I don't know if I'm saying New Avengers just because I've read it recently, because I loved the X-Men. Okay, so Ultimate Spider-Man #1, followed up by Amazing Spider-Man. After that, in no particular order, New Avengers, the Bendis run from 2004. I'm trying to think of a particular X-Men series that I enjoyed more so than something else. Like, I wanted to say Uncanny X-Men just for the sake of it, but was there an like, I kind of enjoyed Wolverine in the X-Men for a little bit, but I don't know. I'm just gonna say X-Men as a bland thing, just X-Men in general. And I don't know, what do I have? Let me have a little looky-loo behind me. I don't know, Fantastic Four was awesome as well. But in saying that, like, that's really like all I've read as well. Like, you might sound like, oh, that's all you've read, but you think there's like 300-400 issues in each. Like, that's actually quite a lot. But I'd say Ultimate Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, New Avengers, Bendis' run, and also, to be honest, anything quite new, the New Avengers now, Hickman's run, that's awesome as well. But yeah, X-Men, probably Uncanny, but like any variation of the X-Men is fantastic. And I did enjoy Fantastic Four for quite a long time, or eventually it lost its pizzazz after a while. But there's one I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting one, I really am. Oh, do you know what X-Men run I really loved? New X-Men. New X-Men was awesome, and I'm not talking about the New X-Men where Emma Frost first came into the X-Men and all that sort of stuff. I'm talking about the New X-Men where it focused on the students of the school, and you had Surge and Hellion and a whole bunch of other like the new characters introduced. It just focused on like their teen drama and them developing new powers, and they were brand new to the school, brand new characters, and every now and then you'd see Cyclops coming over and scolding them for messing around in class and stuff like that. That series went from being like a teen drama angst sort of thing to being one of the best stories I have ever read. It was so cool because the school got attacked so many times when the X-Men were off like saving the world or off in space or what have you, and it was brutal, absolutely brutal. You've got these kids like ranging from like 7 or 8 up into like your late teens, and these gunmen, like the Purifiers, would just come into the school and just be shooting kids on sight. And I remember there's one particular bit where this kid popped out. I'm not going to say which character he was, but he was one of the prominent characters. He hears a sound, he pops his head out of his room, he's like, hey guys, what's going on? Turns around and there's a gun just there and just shoots him, kills him outright, like gone, that's it, he's done. And I was just like, whoa! Like, this was like originally like a teen angst drama sort of comic, and it just got brutal. Like, the catalyst was House of M. That was what did it. It was like all teen angst, and I've got this power, and you're in this clique, and I'm in this clique, and you're the popular kid, and blah blah blah. We're on this team, and you're on that team, and House of M happened, and obviously a load of mutants lost their powers, nearly all of them, and just out of what was originally like 30, 40 kids, there's about 15 left that actually still have their powers, or 10, or something like that. And obviously, like, they've gone from being rivals with each other to now having to stick together, like they're all each other have got, and then just threat after threat after threat after threat. Like, people just kept attacking the school and killing them off one by one. Like, I can't think of an X-Men comic where more mutants have died in one series run than that. It was insane. Like, by the end of it, there was like 6 of them left. Like, it was I enjoyed it so much. So do you know what? Yeah, all new X-Men. Like, X-Men in general was awesome, but all new X-Men was brilliant. Obviously not the run which focused on the main X-Men team, like the one that focuses on the kids. Oh, so good. All that all tying to an end, like in Messiah Complex and Second Coming. Oh, ending in that lot was just fantastic. So, yeah, like for the 5th one, I don't know. It was something like Fantastic Four, I think it was, or something like that. I don't know. But top 5 like events, Civil War, absolutely awesome. Read all the tie-ins with it. You just get such a rich story of everything. Like, I've said this 1,000 times, but it's so good. Civil War, Messiah Complex, and I'm just going to throw in Second Coming as like a part 1 and a part 2. They're 2 separate events, but if you've read X-Men and you've read all the different iterations of X-Men leading up to Messiah Complex brings all of them together in one big thing, and it all gets rounded up. It's the end of that new X-Men run I was just telling you about. Oh, it's such a good read. If you're reading X-Men and you get to Messiah Complex, oh my god, it's so good. Like, by the time I was finished reading X-Men, like, I wanted to be a mutant. Like, that was it. Like, that was, man, like, X-Men's awesome. But yeah, so like Civil War, Messiah Complex, The Second Coming is just like whole one thing, which is, oh, that's fantastic. Secret Invasion, that was pretty cool as well. I liked Secret Invasion. Again, read all the tie-ins. That's a badass event. Let's have a look. What else have I got behind me? Refresh my memory. Avengers vs. X-Men, that was okay. It wasn't that great. I don't know. I must be forgetting some of the big events that I thought were just fantastic. I don't know. Like, it depends really what you're looking for in like an event. Like, I like Ultimatum. That was like a big event that happened in the Ultimate Universe. Like, I like that, but I hear a lot of people hated it. So, I don't know. Civil War, Secret Invasion. Oh yeah, House of M. I loved House of M. That was awesome as well. So, Civil War, Secret Invasion, House of M. Messiah Complex and The Second Coming. And one more to throw in. I don't know. Ultimatum, why not? That's from the Ultimate Universe. Let's give the Ultimate Universe some love. But yeah, that was awesome as well. So, but like, it depends what you're looking for in an event, really. Are you looking for a thing that combines the whole universe? Because there's also been events that are just localized to one character, like Spider-Verse, or like Spider Island, or like, or Messiah Complex and Second Coming. That was just an X-Men event. So you do have your events that are limited just to certain things. But hey ho. Anyway, I've been on this one a bit too long. So. Jimmy Rogers said, "Hey Cap, why do you not like DC comics, and do you think Lego Marvel The Avengers will live up to its expectations?" Actually, like, this is a common misconception. Like, just because I love Marvel and I read Marvel and I don't read DC, that doesn't mean I don't like DC comics. It's only because I don't have a forum to read them on. Like Marvel, I only started reading Marvel when the digital like online subscription started, so I could read them all online and just sit on my laptop and just read one after the other after the other. DC doesn't have that. That's the only difference. That's the only reason I read Marvel over DC. Other than the fact that I started reading Marvel because I loved Spider-Man and X-Men, and I really wanted to start reading the comics. Like, I was always going to read Marvel first. The only reason I haven't picked up any DC stuff is because other than going out and buying the issues, I've got no way of reading it. And like, how do you know where to start? And then even if you do know where to start, I don't want to spend loads and loads of money buying these issues just to read them. Like, I buy the issues I have behind me. Those ones, the spine of the books that all make the picture, they're part of the graphic novel collection. So they're just like some of the best that Marvel sends out to me, and I pay monthly for them. All the ones that I've bought personally are just the big events, like your Avengers versus your X-Men, your Spider-Verses, your stuff like that, the big events. Other than that, the individual issues, like, I've read 300-400 issues of Spider-Man, 300-400 issues of X-Men, of Fantastic Four, of Avengers, of New Avengers, like, I've read so many. Like, if I was to buy them all individual, not only would that cost hundreds of thousands of pounds, but I would have to have a room just for the comics. Like, it'd be insane. The digital online subscription thing means I can read all of those issues and just read them online, and they're stored online, and I don't have them like building up everywhere in my room. So like, that's the only reason. It's convenience is one of the main reasons I'm reading Marvel, not DC. Like, if DC was to set up a DC online where I could pay £60 a year and read as many DC comics as you like, I would definitely start reading DC. Like, Flashpoint, awesome story. Bear in mind, I knew none of the characters. Fantastic story. Loved it. Absolutely brilliant. Such a great ending as well. I've read the first issue of the New 52... New 52? Yeah, that's right. I thought it was 42 for a second. New 52 Justice League. Like, I enjoyed that as well. I'd definitely start reading DC. It's just not a forum for me to read them on, really, like, other than buying the individual comics themselves. So, and do I think Lego Marvel Avengers will live up to its expectations? I, as of right now, have no expectations for Lego Marvel. Like, other than living up to Lego Marvel Superheroes, I have absolutely no expectations for it. So, for me personally, it's got no expectations to live up to. But in just the grand scheme of things, like, I think it will. Like, Lego have made so many games, and they've all been really, really enjoyable. So I have no... And they've already made a Marvel game, so they've already... It's not like this is their first Marvel game. They hit the ground running with Lego Marvel Superheroes, so I don't see why not. They've already got a good formula for making these games, so... Xavier Golden said, "So excited to see your Arkham Knight walkthrough. I hope you're enjoying it." Thomas Jackson said, you must think I have multiple personality disorder because I use 2 different YouTube accounts to post comments. My reason is I made General Fire just to troll you, and Thomas Jackson is for everything else. And by the way, last week I listed my relatives in the military. Well, I forgot to tell you that that is not even all of it. For example, a lot of my relatives served in the Canadian military, and that is also all I know of, as I have also mentioned a few officers, and they means that they went to college, and when they joined, they're in charge and enlisted personnel. Enlisted means you did not go to college. If you are not an officer, then you are commissioned, not enlisted. Tell Mama Cap I said happy birthday. Will do. I'll tell her I said happy birthday from you. Okay, alright, so we've got a few more spoiler alert here things written by Zachary Perkins. So Zachary Perkins said, spoiler alert, what do you think of Toxin, the new symbiote? He's the offspring of Carnage, and he's actually becoming a good guy. I have no thoughts, because until I just read that, I didn't know he existed. So, okay, cool. Do I think that making yet again another symbiote character is a good idea? But, I mean, I think Carnage is no longer in existence, so I suppose there's a vacuum, there's space for it. So, yet again, Zachary Perkins says, spoiler alert again, and this one is relating to the Punisher. I stopped reading Punisher when, in one of the issues, he teams up with a rapper, Eminem, and then gets shot by him. Yeah, I don't really read Punisher, but I can see how that might be a bit like it's one of those things you sort of look at and you're like, alright buddy, okay. Zachary Perkins also said, Ratchet and Clank is an awesome series and it has a perfect amount of comedy, story, and carnage. It is one of my top 10 video game series of all time. Yeah, that seems to be a popular decision. I'd never even played Ratchet and Clank, but everyone seems to love it. P.S. Have you checked out Life is Strange yet? The next part comes out in July, I think. Trust me, the story is really good, but I hate how some people forget to rewind time, even though it's the main aspect of the game. No, I haven't checked it out yet. As of right now, I have no interest in checking it out. As I was saying earlier, I've got a whole bunch of things that are on my plate, like comics, TV programs, games. There's so much I want to do right now, so I'm not looking to add anything more to that right now. But I probably, if I ever at one point are like, what do I want to play? Then I'll probably add that to the list, because a lot of people have said some good stuff about it. Azordam said, "Wow, you have a new fingerprint." Yeah, maybe. It was more like really like the middle of the fingers that really got messed up, other than my index finger. So, unfortunately, my fingerprints are still intact. So, Zachary Perkins said, "Gaston versus Shepard, who wins?" I want to say Shepard, but I don't know, mainly because he has a gun. But I want to say Shepard, but Gaston is the Dragonborn. And he has spells and... But then Shepard has biotics. I'm saying Shepard. I'm saying Shepard. Kind of personal bias, as much as I love Gaston, Shepard's just awesome. So, I'm going to say Shepard. Frostbite Spider-Man versus Dragonborn Elcor. Fantastic. Frostbite Spider-Man. Not just because it's Spider-Man. Frostbite Spider-Man, I'd imagine would be like Man-Spider, literally looking like a giant mutated spider. But Dragonborn Elcor would be cool, but the Elcor still move very, very slowly. So unless the spider gets in the front of the Dragonborn Elcor, so he can Fusro him out of here or whatnot, I gotta imagine the Frostbite Spider-Man would do a lot of damage to the Elcor. As much as I'd hate to imagine that. If you could put one race from Skyrim into Mass Effect and vice versa, what would they be? Well, obviously I'd love to see an Elcor in Skyrim. That would have been my answer even if I hadn't just read the Dragonborn Elcor. Obviously that has persuaded me a little bit, but just to roam around Skyrim, and instead of seeing a troll or a giant or a mammoth, you just see an Elcor rocking along. That'd be fantastic. I'd love that. If not, then a Krogan as a really powerful enemy. But so what would I like from Skyrim to be in Mass Effect? Like, obviously a dragon would be your first choice, but I'm gonna say an Argonian. I think an Argonian would fit really well in, like, it would add a new type of world, like a really, like where the Drell was supposed to, where the Drell and the Hanar were supposed to come from, like a really, like obviously the Drell was supposed to live in a really dry climate, but they end up living with the Hanar in a really, like, damp, like muggy, misty society. Like, it would be cool if then the Argonians then lived where the Drell used to live. Like, that'd be really cool. I'd like that. So, the cutest tiger there ever was said, "God damn it, Dave, your Dave luck is really contagious." Yeah, it is, man. Like, careful. Spend too much time with me, you catch the Dave luck. It just happens. But cutest tiger there ever was also said, "Hell yes, I want some Captain Dave t-shirts." Like, yeah, like if you guys really want to see some, really want some merchandising, I am actually looking into it at the moment. So, like, yeah, I don't know. That might be that might be something that would be on the way at some point down the line. So, from the way you told your cat story, it seemed like she didn't like being called Frank, and for all good reasons. Yeah, like, I think it was originally because my mum wanted to get like a really big fat ginger cat, and she went to someone's house who was advertising a ginger cat, and they had the Frank instead. And apparently the place was just awful. The people were really horrible, and the daughter didn't want to give away the cat. And when the mum told her to, she threw it down the stairs at my mum. And I think my mum basically went with the opinion and was like, "Well, this isn't the cat I want, but there's no way I'm leaving it in like this really horrible situation." So she just she bought the cat anyway. And then she went and got a big fat ginger cat as well. So so I think it was more like a mercy, like a rescue. So, but we wanted to call it Frank, so we still called her Frank anyway. So. Somebody just spoiled it for me. They went, "Kenny is in season 2, and I hate it when people do that." And then I went and said it in the episode as well. Yes, the irony is indeed too strong. Like, it was an accident, it was a slip of the tongue. Sorry. Note to self: don't go and watch a horror movie on one day you wanted to stay up late and get some work done. Probably not a good idea. No, I can definitely guarantee that is not a good idea. Also, if you're me and 15 years old and you go watch a horror film and then do a paper round in the middle of night and walk down some very dark roads with no streetlights, that is also not a good idea. I can't think of a time I was more terrified in my life. If Apple made a car, what would it say? iMove. Now that the horrible puns are over, feel free to resume to the captain's quarters as usual. Will do, cutest tiger, will do. Coral Kobrak said, "Hey Dave, do you have the Dawn Guard and Dragon Ball DLC? Because if not, you really should get them both. You'll be able to turn into a vampire and ride dragons. You also get amazing quests and new sets of armor and weapons such as Dragon Bone Weapon, Light Dragon Armor, the Death Brand set unique bows, and a lot more." So I've had a lot of people tell me that I should get the DLC, especially like the Dragon Ball DLC. So I don't know, like, I might look into it at some point, but as of right now, I have no desire to get them. But as I say, like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Skyrim's going to be a hell of a long walkthrough, so who knows? Yawning. Must be time. Must be past my bedtime. Denise Banderet, sorry if I said that wrong, said you should do a walkthrough of a game called Spider-Man Friend or Foe. Yeah, I've seen little bits of that online before. I think it's quite an old game, so who knows? I'll throw it in there. I'll throw it in the maybe pile. The cutest tiger there ever was said, "Hey man, about your old walkthroughs not being too great. The first 5 minutes of your Marvel Ultimate Alliance intro are what got me into your channel. I always find people who do Let's Plays boring because it's literally just like watching somebody else play a game while you watch it. But when I heard your commentary, I was like, yep, I'm watching this guy. After I watched Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I started watching some of your older videos like X-Men, Destiny, Shadow Matter. I seriously could not think of any game that I played or watched that I enjoyed so much. And your Fallout videos, oh man, those first 15 episodes were just the best. But hey, that's just my opinion. And why I watch YouTube. Just to watch somebody playing something while having a laugh, making jokes and those kind of things. Other people may prefer something else, and that's totally fine. Even though you change quite a lot from the kind I usually enjoy, I still enjoy your videos, man, just as much. Whenever I really like someone for their character and personality, I usually like them no matter how much they change and enjoy them just as much. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you do best and have a nice day. Oh, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Like, I always feel like, I think it's because, like, as you grow as a person, you change, and then you look back at your older stuff, and you kind of, because you've changed, you always think your older stuff's bad, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. I guess it just means it's different. So sometimes I kind of look at my old stuff, and I'm a bit like, ooh, like, I could have done that better. I wish I'd done that better. Yada yada yada. But then, as you say, stuff like that. That's the stuff that got you into my channel. So that's why I've never taken down my old videos, because even though I might be a bit like, like I don't really like them as much now, I know there's people who absolutely love them. So. No. But that's also the same reason why I'm going to redo them as well, because I want to redo them just because I want to play the game again, and I think I could do it probably better now, but at the same time, like, I'll never delete the old walkthrough, like, that's always going to be there, so. But no, thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. I really wish I had more water, because I am so thirsty right now. Blastside Studios said, what are your thoughts on Batman Arkham Knight? I loved it, and the twists and turns are brilliant, as well as the emotions of the story as well. Also, well said about the Marvel relationships. I want to hear about your favourite Marvel romances. Is the cat you're talking the one that's in the Cats Are Crazy video? No, the one the one that's in the Cats Are Crazy video. That's such an old video. The one that is in the Cats Are Crazy video, that is Murphy. Like when I was saying just now, like, my mum originally wanted to get like a big fat ginger cat, and then she saved Frank instead, and then we got a big fat ginger cat anyway. The big fat ginger cat, that is the one that is in the video called Cats Are Crazy. I'll make a note of that as well, and I'll put that in the link of the description. Man, that's an old video. That's classic Captain Dave. That is. Cats Are Crazy. Yeah. So that is, for anyone who hasn't seen it, that is a really, really old video on my channel of me just recording a ginger cat when I used to live around my parents' house, and it just went absolutely insane. It was just like playing on the banister and attacking my hands and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, so I'll link in the description to that as well, to the Cats Are Crazy video. But no, that's Murphy. That's Murphy. That's the big fat ginger cat that my mum got after she rescued Frank. So I forgot about that video. Yeah, so what are my thoughts on Arkham Knight? Like, I've already said quite a bit about how much I loved Arkham Knight, but it was just fantastic. It took me by storm, like, how much I enjoyed that game. So, and as you say, like, the twists and turns are just fantastic. Like, it really, like, there's times where I needed to go to the toilet for, like, over an hour, and I just couldn't physically bring myself to stop playing, so, like, it was absolutely awesome. But, so you want to hear about my favourite Marvel romances? So obviously, like, one of the ones that's got to take has obviously got to be Peter Parker and Mary Jane. Like, I haven't read. I started reading after the demise of Gwen Stacy already. So, well, like, Peter Parker and Mary Jane's obviously got to be one of the big ones. Let's think. Cyclops and Emma Frost. Like, that's a cool one because obviously everyone thinks, oh, Cyclops and Jean Grey. Cyclops and Jean Grey. After Jean Grey, Cyclops and Emma Frost has been very interesting, because Emma Frost is a former villain. Cyclops has been the leader of the X-Men, like as Wolverine used to call him, Boy Scout, because he is also like play by the rules, by the book, straight and narrow down the line. Cyclops, as we know today, that is not what Cyclops is like anymore. It's almost like Wolverine and Cyclops have switched, or actually, more importantly, Wolverine took Cyclops' mantle, and Cyclops took Magneto's mantle. Like, that, I think, would be a better description of it. But, obviously, back in the day, when Cyclops and Emma Frost first started getting together, which was actually, in a sense, just before Jean Grey died. So, it's been interesting, because since then, you've seen Cyclops slowly change. And that's not to say it's Emma Frost's fault, because there's actually been points where Emma Frost is trying to rein Cyclops back in. It was really House of M that kicked everything off for Cyclops. But like, it is so interesting to see a former supervillain and like the good of good. Like, Cyclops was practically like the Captain America of the mutants, like back in the day, and now like that couldn't be further from the truth. But it's just interesting to see that dynamic. Like, they clearly were in love for each other, but Emma Frost was manipulative and cruel, and not to Cyclops but to everyone else, and sometimes to Cyclops, whereas Cyclops was straight and narrow down the line. But it was just weird to see this relationship between the two of them, and they did really complement each other well. Like, obviously you could argue how well that's worked out for Cyclops in the long run and for Emma Frost in the long run, but Yeah, I mean, like, without Cyclops, Emma Frost wouldn't be where she is now. Like, it was their relationship that has forced everyone to work alongside Emma Frost. Other than that, like, she would not have been in the mainstay team of the X-Men, not for very long anyway. So, and obviously Emma Frost, in a sense, has changed the person Cyclops was. So, like, that's an interesting relationship. I suppose you've got other relationships as well, like Wiccan in the Young Avengers and Teddy. I forget his last name. So basically, it's like one of the more prominent gay relationships in the Marvel Universe is Wiccan, who is one of Scarlet Witch's. It's really confusing. Is one of Scarlet Witch's twin children, who she created out of the figment of her imagination. But when eventually she was convinced that she had created them just using magic and they weren't real, they were dispersed. But their souls went in and inhabited real life people, which is really weird, and yet those people were actually twins, and it's really weird. But yeah, so Wiccan, the son of Scarlet Witch, and then you got Teddy, I don't know his full name, even though I've just read it, who is half Skrull, half the alien race Skrull, and half Kree, which is another alien race. So he can shapeshift, but he normally takes on the form of the Hulk just because he likes it, so he's called Hulkling. And them two are in as teenagers in a gay relationship as well, and that's quite an interesting relationship because you got like Wiccan, who's like the son of the Scarlet Witch, who does magic, is part of the Maximoff family, like eventually, and then you got Teddy, who is like this. He's like the prince of like the Kree. I think it's the Kree Empire, and he's got this whole prophecy about because how he's part Skrull and part Kree, he's going to unite the people and do all this other sort of stuff, and there's all these prophecies about them, and they've both got huge weight on their shoulders, like the Maximoff lineage, like Magneto's your grandfather, Quicksilver's your uncle, Scarlet Witch, who decimated the mutant population and killed a bunch of Avengers, is your mother, like. That's a hell of a lineage, hell of a family history. And then, of course, you got Hulkling, like the Kree Empire, the Skrull Empire, like massive, massive empires to come from. And he's like this prophecy, their prince. And now these two are in a gay relationship, which is sometimes can be taken as a controversial thing, depending on obviously what culture you live in or what time you live in or whatever. So, like that's a really interesting relationship, and it's kind of cool as well, like. It was done in a really good way. It wasn't done in like a really sappy, it's all about the relationship way. It wasn't done in a really camp way. And it wasn't done like sometimes gay relationships are portrayed in a way where one's more feminine than the other, which really I think can be true sometimes, but can also sometimes be a slap in the face. It's almost like saying they're in a gay relationship, but that's the man and that's the woman. And that's not fair, really, in a sense. Like sometimes that's true, but that's not the case with everyone. And it was done, I think, in such a fantastic way. They were in a relationship just like everyone else is in a relationship. And they squabbled and they bickered and they worked together. And it wasn't just all about their relationship. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because there was an X-Men run, Astonishing X-Men, which started out again as Joss Whedon. Fantastic story. So good. And then eventually it was taken over by this writer who the whole focus was on Jean-Paul Baptiste, who is North Star, and it was all about his gay relationship and how he's going to be deported back to Canada, and it was gone about this whole awesome, astonishing X-Men team just to being about him, who was only introduced at the start of this story. So it was like it'd gone from being about the astonishing X-Men to now, hey look, there's Jean-Paul Baptiste. Now it's all about him. And Wolverine's like giving him advice about his marriage. And it was just like, what is this? Like, it was stupid. And the whole thing was just made about their relationship. And it was all sappy and lovey-dovey. And it was just silly. It was stupid. This, however, between Wiccan and Teddy, was done really well. It was like, it wasn't, because it was a gay relationship, it's got to be all about their relationship. It is about Wiccan trying to find the Scarlet Witch and to try and find out if she really is his mother, and it was Teddy trying to stop him and also trying to help him through this situation, like any relationship is. And it was just handled in such a good way. Like, the fact that they were gay had nothing to do with the story. It was just part of their character. And I think that was what was so awesome about it, because it made it more believable as well. Like, you looked at them and you're like, yeah, like, you looked at them and like, they cared about each other. It wasn't this whole big drama of, you said that, you were talking to him, you were doing that. It was just cool. It was really well done. So yeah, so like Spider-Man Mary Jane is just iconic, fantastic. Cyclops, Emma Frost is cool. Wiccan and like Hulkling, like that's cool as well. That was done really well. Who else am I thinking of? There's some really cool ones I liked. Oh, it's an Avengers-based one. Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. I've always liked that relationship. That's a cool one. Like, it's one of those classic ones where like Luke Cage used to be this thug, and then he was the hero for hire, and then like he still has this really big macho persona, and your Jessica Jones just looks at him, and he's like, "Yeah, we're doing what she says." Like, it's one of those really awesome storylines. Like, he is Luke Cage. He is indestructible skin. He is like, for a long time, he was the leader of the New Avengers, and then Jessica Jones would just look at him and be like, "No," and he's like, "Yeah, Spidey, Wolverine, Iron Fist, like, I've got to go with her." Like, it's just such a cool relationship, and it's such a cool dynamic. And I think what was also really fantastic was the fact that he eventually left the Avengers, and he left the New Avengers to start a life with her. He gave up superheroing to start a life with his wife and his kids, which is obviously so far from where he originally came, where originally he would sell himself as a hero to whoever was willing to pay him, to now giving up the superhero life for his family. Like, it's such a progression of character. I think it was such a testament to their relationship. It was really cool. Obviously, he still does the hero for hiring thing on a smaller scale to fund like his marriage and whatnot, but that's cool. Like, that's an awesome relationship, and there's loads like that as well. Like Wolverine Storm, that's been an on and off thing. That was kind of cool. Like Bobby Drake and Kitty Pryde, like that didn't really last that long, but that was something I was looking forward to. It was kind of a shame when it didn't really go anywhere, but yeah, there's loads of cool relationships. Like the Ultimate Universe, Peter Parker and Kitty Pryde, that blindsided me. Didn't see it coming, but was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. It was so well done. But now there's so many cool relationships, man. There's this awesome ones. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. I've gone on that one for quite a while. Tanjil Malik said, "Have you ever tried to imagine what Batman would be like if he was drunk?" And also, Xbox One now has backwards capability, so you can play Xbox 360 games on your Xbox One, so you don't really need a remaster of Mass Effect on Xbox One. Yes and no. The main reason I think people want to remaster it is not so they can still play it, because I mean, like, I got an Xbox One, but I'd never sell my Xbox 360. Like, I don't get why people do that. Like, I'm going to get a new console, so I'm going to sell my old one. I'm like, no. Like, not only are all your games on there, like, yes, you might be able to play them on Xbox One now, but the saved data is still on that console. Like, I'd never sell my 360. Like, until it broke or became that obsolete. Like, I'd never sell it. Like, I still have my PS1 and my PS2 around my mum's house. Like, I'd never sell that sort of stuff. But I think the reason people want a remastered one is so they can play Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 in like HD quality with like better controls and stuff like that. I think that's why, but yeah. But yeah, like, can I imagine what Batman would be like if he was drunk? Like, the thing is, the way I read that was like, can you imagine what Batman would be like if he was drunk and on Xbox One? Like, that was the way I read that. Just imagine like Batman playing like Call of Duty or just any multiplayer game. And he was just like, "Whoa!" It's like he's playing like Search. He's playing Search and Destroy, and the clock's ticking down, and he's just got to kill like one more enemy. "Where are they?" Just like on the microphone. He's like, "Where's the bomb? Where's the enemies? I've got to save Gotham." It'll be hilarious. It's so funny. Yeah, he's got like one of the other characters on the other team's Commissioner Gordon. "Where's Commissioner Gordon?" It would be so funny. And like he just fused the bomb at the last minute, but he would be doing it like, so he'd be using like Juggernaut MP50 or MP5 or whatever it's called, or he'd be like 360 and no scoping, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not the teammate you want. I'm the teammate you need." It'd just be so funny. They're like, "Oh, dude, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that?" "It's because I'm Batman." Oh, man, like, I think I've just found a new video series, trolling people as Batman. That'd be so funny. But, yeah. Maybe I should stop with the Christian Bale Batman impressions now. Wendelius Gartharian is back again. He said, "Now I have found out about your trickery, but I have found a plan. Does this sound familiar to you?" And then I'm not going to say what his plan was because it's a spoiler for Batman Arkham Knight. This way, no matter what, you shall be effective. P.S. I added commas and full stops now. Are you happy? Yes, I'm very happy. It was much easier to read this time around. Sophie Wilson said, do you think you would ever be up for doing an hour-long Skyrim video? I don't know, like, the way I record Skyrim is like, I normally record it in about a 2-hour session, and I break it down into normally 4 half-hour videos. It can be more or less, it depends on what really happens in the video. Like, if there's a really good point to leave it on, which is 5 minutes before or after the half-hour spot, I'll end it there just because it works out better. But I don't know, like, I'm in an iron about this. Like before, I used to, like, on my channel, I used to always do, like, back in, like I've sort of dubbed, and you guys agreed, the glory days, like, where I'd have Mass Effect every single day, and Arkham Origins or Arkham City would be every other day. So it'd be like Mass Effect, and Batman, Mass Effect, and Batman. So you'd have uploads every day, and then every other day would also be Batman. You'd have 2 videos on that day. Like, I don't know how I had the time to do that back then, but I did. And now I created this new schedule because it works out better for me. So you get a video every day, but each particular video series only uploads twice a week, so it gives me more time to record them. That was basically the idea. Something I have been and ahhing about is my newest schedule I uploaded this week is Skyrim Monday and Thursday, Batman Tuesday and Friday, so I can finish off The Walking Dead is on Wednesday, and obviously Segway City Saturday, and Captain's Quarters Sunday. That's the plan. The only other thing I can do is, because Skyrim is obviously going to be such a long game to complete, I could always switch The Walking Dead to Monday and Fridays, and then whatever game's going to come after The Walking Dead to Mondays and Fridays, and have Skyrim, since how it's going to be a really long game, I could have hour-long episodes on Wednesday. So instead of having 2 half-hour episodes, Monday and Thursday, I could have 1 hour-long episode of Skyrim on Wednesday. I could do that, actually. Because I was going to move Skyrim to Wednesday, so then that way I could have 2 superhero walkthroughs, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then just have Skyrim on Wednesdays. But I thought it's going to be such a long game. If I move it to Wednesdays, it will be years and years and years, and I'll still be playing this damn game. But if I made the episode like an hour long every Wednesday, maybe. That way I could have Batman and Ultimate Alliance at the same time. Like, maybe. That's why I'm going to answer to your question, Sophie. Maybe. That could actually be a really good idea. Because, I mean, Skyrim is one of those games that you really want to just sit there and just watch for ages. You know, my only worry with doing hour-long videos, like regular hour-long videos and stuff like that, is because different people have different time schedules and different people have different attention spans. Some people will only watch a video if it's 10-15 minutes long. Other people, that's too short. I used to always make my videos 20-minute long. Like, when I used to upload, when it used to be like Monday to Sunday, Mass Effect, every single day, I made them 20 minutes long, 15 to 20 minutes long, because when that ended, you get the next one the next day. But because you have to wait like 2 or 3 days in between, if you're only liking one video series, you have to wait 2 or 3 days, so I increased them to half an hour long, just so you got more of that series. But the only problem with being an hour long is, like, some people don't really have that attention span, I think, like, to watch something for an hour, and they might just get bored, and then they haven't finished watching that hour-long video by the time the next one comes out, and then they'll be like, meh. And plus, it's just me getting enough recorded in time, so I don't know, but no, that's kind of a good idea. That might actually be a good idea. One hour-long Skyrim video a week instead of 2 half-hour ones. I don't know, who knows? We'll have to see, I guess. The General of Fire said, by the way, Windelius, I'm the only one who can pick on the captain. If you want, you will have to go through me. I must warn you, I have the power to be awesome and burn chumps like you. Say it like you mean it, Cap. Hell, General of Fire. Hell, Hydra. Just when I thought that was done and dusted. Ah, dearie me. Mad Llama Gaming said, Captain Dave, I am a big fan. I love your Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 playthroughs. Also, you say that you love Spider-Man, but what top 3 Spideys do you like? Me personally, I like number 1, Miles Morales, number 2, Peter Parker, number 3, Miguel O'Hara. So for me, number 1 is always going to be Peter Parker. Oh, sorry. First off, thank you very much for the kind words. I appreciate that. Number 1's always going to be Peter Parker. Like, I love Peter Parker. Like, it's weird to say that my role model is Peter Parker. I mean, there's a reason, like, Spider-Man is on my arm, and it's not because I love Spider-Man, it's because I love Peter Parker. Like, you could put anyone, like, Dr. Octopus was Spider-Man for a while. That doesn't mean I loved him. Like, It's not Spider-Man I love. It's Peter Parker. Like, his personality, his attitude on life, like, everything. Like, it's weird that he's a fictional character, but Peter Parker is my role model. There is nobody in real life who I look up to in that aspect. Like, other than probably, like, my parents. Like, there's nobody I look up to in that aspect like I do, like, Peter Parker. Like, the guy is, like, the embodiment of everything I would want to be. Like, just when it comes to, like, how good he is, how much he sacrifices for other people. Like, he's just his general, the goodness of him, man. Like, the fact how he never lets it get him down. And, like, no matter what bad stuff happens, he doesn't let it make him jaded. He still tries to stay the same nice, positive person and not let it be like, oh, the world sucks and I just live in it, or something like that, you know. So Peter Parker, always going to be number one. I've only just started reading Miles Morales, so I'm not sure. I don't know if I can rank him properly, but in saying that, I've never even read Miguel O'Hara, so. Favourite Spideys? I don't know. Like, could Peter Parker of the Ultimate Universe be counted different from Peter Parker of the 616 universe? Because, I mean, obviously in Amazing Spider-Man, there were hundreds of Peter Parkers, but they're all different Spider-Men from different universe, so. I'm going to say Peter Parker, Miles Morales, and then. Yeah, probably Miguel O'Hara. Probably the same order as yours, just 1 and 2 switched round. Because, like, I like Spider-Man Noir, but as a character, I don't actually like him. Because obviously, like, he's more like Spider-Man Noir is more like if Wolverine was fused with Peter Parker. But I don't know. Like, I'd probably say, yeah, Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Miguel O'Hara, probably. Or maybe Peter Parker, Miguel O'Hara, Miles Morales. I don't know. I haven't read it really any Miguel O'Hara, and I've only just started Miles Morales. So Peter Parker, and then Miguel O'Hara, Miles Morales as number 2 and 3. I don't know which order yet. So. The Wild Rider said, sorry for messing you up on the dragon name. It's my fault, really. By the way, for Kodav, the one you said first was correct. Once again, sorry. And just so you know, I got an Xbox One very recently. I got it on Friday alongside Arkham Knight. GameStop was offering a deal, a free game with the purchase of the Xbox One, so I took it and got Arkham Knight. And just so you know, I'm nearly done with the main story and also suspected who the Arkham Knight was all along. So, yes, it's like different people. Some people expected the whole time, some people were kind of surprised. So, also, my character is a level 51 Khajiit with Dragonplate armor and the equivalent of Dragonbone swords and Spellbreaker. A shield that blocks all incoming magic up to 50 damage at once, and as long as the shield is up. And the at once that a Drong, was that one of the Draugrs, you mean, can breathe fire on you, or a dragon can breathe fire on you, and you won't take damage as long as you have the shield up. I'm slightly OP. It sounds a little bit. Also, I got it with no cheating. One last thing, if you enchant a weapon, you can also rename it. Yes, no, I know you can rename a weapon when you enchant it. I think when I go back to Whiterun, I might enchant one of my weapons, because I already know which weapons I want. I already know. There's 2 enchantments I want to do, and I know I'm going to name them before I even started the walkthrough, because I'm surprised actually I've waited this long to do it, because like, I know what I want to call it. Like, I've been waiting to do this for so long. I forgot about it. Like, oh man, yeah. When I go to Whiterun, I've got to enchant 1 or 2 of my weapons, because I've had this idea in my head for ages and I completely forgot about it, and that just reminded me. So yeah, when I go back to Whiterun, I've got to enchant some of my weapons. So, so the scenario is similar to Hulk versus Loki, and you as Loki. I'm referring to your cat story. Oh, what do you mean when Hulk picks up Loki and smashes him around? Yeah, in a sense, except for really I was more doing that to the cat. So, yeah, but I'm the Hulk. Also, have I seen Lord of the Rings? Yes, I have. I saw him a long time ago. I saw him at the cinema. And my dad took me to see the first Lord of the Rings film, and I didn't know what Lord of the Rings was. He just took me to go see it. I think it was more one of those, a present for me, which was really more of a present for him. Like, because I had no idea what Lord of the Rings was. And the first film ended, and they were like, Sam and Frodo were walking up, like, traveling to the mountain, and the credits started rolling. And I just sat forwards, and I was like, is that it? I was like, is that the end of the film? And he was like, no, Dave, it's a trilogy. And I was like, Oh, like, I had no idea it was a trilogy. It got to the end of the film, and I was like, what? Like, that's the end of the film? It's like, nothing's been answered. And then, yeah, so I was like, oh, cool, like, I want to see the next two now. But at the time, I was just baffled. I was like, what? How is that the end? But, yeah, I've seen Lord of the Rings. I've seen the first Hobbit film. I haven't seen the other two yet. I've got them, so I should really watch them. But, yeah, I've only seen the first Hobbit film. Donald Dimmick said, this is not a question, but just a cool thing that happened to me. I live about 10 minutes from where they shoot The Walking Dead, and about a month ago, they was filming a scene, and I was passing by with the guy from Boondock Saints on his motorbike. Have you ever seen or been an extra in a film? No, I haven't. Although, a long time ago, like when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I did originally look into being an extra. Like in, like for anyone who doesn't know what an extra is, like if you ever watch a film or a TV program or like a music video or whatever, and there's people who are just in the background, like they might just be walking along in the shops or they're buying something, and they've got nothing to do with the film. They're just background characters. Like someone's walking down the streets of New York, and you've just got all these people walking past them. That's what an extra is. They don't get paid like they get paid a decent amount. But they don't have any lines, they don't get credited at the end, they're just there, they're just background characters to make the world look real. That's basically what an extra is. And I was looking for quite a long time into doing that. And do you know what, I don't know why I stopped. Like, that would be fun. Like, there's there's one extra I always noticed. If you go and watch Spider-Man 1, like the original Spider-Man, out of like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, you go and watch Spider-Man 1, the scene where he first gets his spider powers, and he punches Flash, and Flash goes flying along, and he gets that chocolate mousse on his face. And Peter Parker's like, yeah! And Mary Jane looks kind of shocked, and she walks away. And then he's like, oh crap, what have I done? There's an extra in the background who I always think kind of looks like a pig. Like, I don't know why. He looks like a pig a little bit. But he plays like a bit of a nerdy character. And I think he stands out because I always thought he overreacts a little bit. Since then, he is in everything. I think this guy's made a career of just being an extra in films. I've seen him in everything, to the point where I think he actually got a speaking role in a TV program or a film. Like, I don't know what his name is. I'm never going to find out what his name is, but he is in everything. But yeah, if you go back and watch that scene, like he's got curly hair, he's got quite a pale face, and his face is like really shriveled up in the middle, and he's quite a big guy. But yeah, go watch the first Spider-Man film when he punches Flash in the in the school. And like, it's when everyone's like, "Oh God, like, let's go, let's get out of here. What's this guy doing?" Like, he's one of them. He's one of them in the crowd. And once you notice him, you'll notice him in everything. Trust me. But like, no, like I've never seen or been an extra in a film, but I've always wanted to. I might have to look into doing that again. Like that'd be cool. That'd be so much fun. Donald Dimmick said, if you could switch powers with any two superheroes, who would you switch? If you could own any superhero vehicle other than Spider-Man, what would that be? What, is Spider-Man the vehicle, or are you talking about the Spider-Mobile? Because I don't think even Spider-Man wants the Spider-Mobile. So if I could switch powers with any two superheroes, who would you switch? So like, say like Captain America, like Spider-Man and Wolverine would switch, so they'd have each other's powers. Is that what you mean? I don't know. Because like, I'd imagine if if two superheroes switch their powers, they would both do just like the same good with them. I would switch. I'm trying to think of a really cool combination here. I don't know. Oh, actually, let me think. Let me think. I've got one. I just need to think of who to switch them with. Who would be a good one? All right. If this might sound kind of boring on the face of it, but let me explain. Tony Stark, like his mind, like he doesn't really have any powers, but let's face it, nobody else has created a suit of armor like Tony Stark has. So let's face it, that is a power of sorts. Like anyone is smart, but he's smart and he's created this armor. And so let's just say The ability and the mind to create and control Tony Stark's armor is a power. Tony Stark mixed with Steve Rogers. So what if Tony Stark had Captain America's speed and power and endurance and strength and shield, and Steve Rogers had Iron Man's armor and just ability to, like, his mind pattern to create the armor and work it and tinker with it and all that sort of stuff. But he still has the mind and the patriotism of Captain America, whereas Tony Stark still has this forward-thinking, quite sometimes narcissistic and maybe selfish, but also obviously he would give his life to save others, like he is a hero. But he had the strength of Captain America. Like, what would that be like? Because Captain America and Iron Man are the closest of friends, and at the same time the biggest of enemies. Because Captain America and Iron Man, they both like leaders of the Avengers. They both are the forefront of superhero, I don't know, like protection of the Avengers. Yeah, Civil War, the Illuminati, the whole incursions things. They butt heads a lot, because Captain America is always like, we fight or we die, but we do it together and we do it doing the right thing. Whereas at the end of the day, Tony Stark will let the necessary evil happen if it's will save the greater good. Like Captain America, I think, would rather let the world die and everyone die, but if they defended it with honor. Whereas Tony Stark would rather kill a bunch of people if it meant saving billions of people. Whereas for Captain America, that's not even an option. He's like, everyone lives or everyone dies. Like, so, like, I just wonder what it would be like if Tony Stark now had the physical power of Captain America, and Captain America now had the resources and the armor that Tony Stark has, but without the superpowers. Like, it's curious. I wonder how, like, if their roles would still be exactly the same, or would their powers and the intelligence kind of switch that? Like, I think that'd be interesting to see. But and if I can own any superhero vehicle other than Spider-Man, would it be probably the Fantastic Four car? Because like the tech the Fantastic Four have are like, it's just fantastic. Obviously, because Fantastic Four, like a Quinjet from the Avengers or something like that, would be kind of cool. But I don't know, like the Fantastic Four's like flying car thing. Like, I think that'd be kind of cool to have. I can't really think of any other vehicles right now, to be honest. I wouldn't want Ghost Rider's bike. No, thank you. Donald Dimmick also said, I haven't watched any walkthrough or Let's Play of Batman Arkham Knight. I'm waiting for the best, so I can't wait for yours. It's going to be awesome. Oh, thank you very much, man. Yeah, and I hope you're enjoying it so far. I mean, as of right now, whilst recording this, I mean, I've been recording this for nearly 2 hours now. Holy hell. 2 hours? No wonder I'm thirsty and hungry. But right now it's only at 57%, and I think earlier I said it was at 46%, and it's been 2 hours, and it is nearly 6 o'clock, and it's only at 57%. So, right, there we go. So, like, my upload speed is absolutely awful. I mean, it doesn't help the fact that it's a very large file, 'cause it's quite a big episode, and it's like 5 gigabytes, but my upload speed is absolutely awful. It's gonna take about 12 hours to get this thing uploaded. Like, this isn't gonna go live, I don't think, until about like 10, 11 in the evening, which obviously you guys watching this on Sunday, it's already gone live. So was I correct? About 10, 11 o'clock, was I right? Like, did I get that right? But yeah, but I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Patriot59 said, hey Cap, did you hear about Telltale developing a mini-series where you play as Michonne from The Walking Dead? I did not hear about that, no. But I'm colour me intrigued. It's in the comic universe, and you learn about what happens to her after the All Out War arc. See, I've got so much catching up to do with The Walking Dead. I think I only got about 4 issues in, like, of the big issues. I think I only got about 4 of them in. So I think I just met the Governor was the last one I ever read. But if you're unfamiliar with the comics, basically there's a war between Rick's group and another enemy group, and after the war, Michonne leaves and is absent for about 12 issues. The miniseries explains what she does during those issues. It seemed interesting to me, and given your strong like for The Walking Dead and Telltale storytelling, I thought you would like it too. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm definitely interested in giving that a play when that comes out. I'm yeah, definitely interested in that. I mean, I'm interested in, like, all of story, as you said, like, all Telltale storytelling. Like, I'm interested in all of that, and mix that with The Walking Dead, yeah, cool. Especially if they're already building off, like, an already preset story arc. Like, I'm kind of curious how that's going to go, because The Walking Dead games was all their own story. But yeah, I'm just curious how that's going to go. Yeah, look, but no, definitely interested in that. Danny numero 6 said, "Hey Dave, how's it going?" It's going good, man. How's it going for you? Hope your hand is doing better. Yes, doing much better, thank you. I know the feeling of burning your hand like that. It's the worst. Yeah, the first couple of hours were just agony, just non-stop pain. But no, it's much better now. Thanks. I totally agree with you, by the way, that they should have added Cyclops in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, seeing what kind of substantial role he plays in the X-Men. I'm also amazed they didn't include the Hulk in there either. I think they should have substituted those two with Blade and Nick Fury as playable characters. Otherwise, great game. Yeah, that makes sense. Like Blade, like I get he's a fan favourite, but he has got nothing to do with the overall Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like he's never there in the big events. Like, yet he gets put into the game, and yet you get people like Cyclops or the Hulk that more times I can count have been in big Marvel events, and yet they don't get added into the game. It's just weird. Like, it's Marvel Ultimate Alliance. You think, I get they're trying to throw in loads of different characters, so it is an Ultimate Alliance. Characters who you haven't seen come together before now come together in this game. I get that's what they're trying to do, but I don't know. Now, if you're going to put Colossus in a game, like, I've got to say, Cyclops has got to be more of a fan favourite than Colossus. He just has to be. Like, I don't see how he's not. But anyway, here's my questions. Number one, do you watch any HBO shows? If so, which one is your favourite? Yeah, so we don't have HBO as a channel in England, but we do have shows that are HBO which are shown on other channels. So stuff like Game of Thrones. Love Game of Thrones. Is Walking Dead... Walking Dead isn't HBO, is it? No. The only one off the top of my head I can think of is Game of Thrones. It always has that sort of thing that happens at the start. So, Game of Thrones, it's the only HBO thing I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, definitely list off some HBO shows for me, and I'll tell you if I watched them or not. But the only one I can think of off the top of my head is Game of Thrones. Number two, what are your thoughts on Red Dead Redemption? As I believe, in my humble opinion, it is the best game ever made. Yes, I do actually have Red Dead Redemption on both PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, because I had it on PlayStation 3 and then Kaylee had it on Xbox 360, so I have it on both. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I still haven't completed it. Played it twice, still haven't completed it. But it's definitely an enjoyable game. Like, it's definitely a lot of fun. But I don't know why, I just never completed it for some reason. Other things must have tickled my fancy. Zachary Perkins said, hey Dave, have you seen Screw Attack's Death Battle? They do tons of research and make characters fight to the death. They have done tons of fights already. The most recent was Doctor Doom versus Darth Vader, but my favourite was Deadpool versus Deathstroke. And just to give you some incentive, they've already done Spider-Man versus Batman. See, that's a good one, Spider-Man versus Batman, because both of them have a huge rogues gallery of villains. Like, with regards to villains, I can only really think, like, I don't read DC, but I can only think that Batman would be the only one who has the same amount of villains that are just his as a Spider-Man does. But yeah, I might have to check them out then. Monty Pig of the Doodle Clan said, man, I need water. That isn't what he said, just, I need water. Like, my throat is just killing me, and I'm getting really tongue-tied. So I think I'm glad we've only got about 3 questions left, because I need to get a glass of water. Hey Cap, a long time no read, I guess. Sorry for not commenting for about a month and a half. I have life. No, get it off me. Get it off. Anyway, I have been busy with school, work, babysitting, etc. All while trying to get a video made and up. Sorry, Dave, but now you're mine again. Oh no, the clowns in the comment section are rubbing off. That is all for now, but next comment will have my good old-fashioned links and comments. By the way, what did you think of those Lego stop motions I sent you? Do you know what? Honestly, they're not ringing a bell. That might have been one of the comments that didn't make it through. You know, like I say, sometimes you guys leave a comment, but for some reason it just doesn't show in the comment section. That might have been one of them, because I honestly don't remember. I don't remember seeing them. And if I had and I'd read them out on one of the other captain's quarters, then I'm sorry. I must have forgot about it. You have to send me the links again, because I don't remember. I don't remember seeing that. So yeah, sorry about that. You have to send me the links again. The Wild Rider said, a question for you and Tommy. What do you guys think of James Spader as Ultron in Age of Ultron? Also, hey Tommy. Yeah, alright, cool. So, if you guys have any questions for Tommy, either ask it in the comment section of Segway City, or send him a message on Twitter. Like, Tommy loves answering comments. I'll have to send him a message on Twitter, is probably the best way to get a response off him. He would love that. Or ask it in Segway City, because both me and Tommy read the comment section of Segway City, and only probably myself reads the comment section of Captain's Quarters. So if you want to ask Tommy a question, go ask him in Segway City. I'm sure he will reply. But anyway, so what did I think of James Spader as Ultron? I liked him. I thought he did a good job. Like, if they were going for a serious Ultron, then James Spader probably wouldn't have been the way to go. But bear in mind, this is an Ultron that was, personality-wise, quite a reflection of Tony Stark. I think James Spader was did quite a good job, I think, personally. That's my personal opinion, anyway. Like, if you're going Ultron from the comics, then no, he wouldn't have been a good pick. But, like, a Tony Stark kind of Ultron, then, yeah, I think he did a good job. But, final question is also from the Wild Rider, who said, final question, maybe. Like, yeah, good shout, mate. It is the final question. This may also contain spoilers if you are really clever, giving you fair warning. If this spoils it for you, then it's your own fault because I gave you a heads up. There you go. You can't ask for more than that. He said he's warned you. But it's about an Arkham Knight one, so. Okay, question time. How long did you suspect the Arkham Knight to who it was? I expected it to be him throughout the entire time with little DC knowledge. There is a character very similar to the Arkham Knight, and I also suspected it throughout the entire game. Okay, bye. Okay, that wasn't really that bad a spoiler. That was okay. But, yeah, like, as I said, like, before earlier, about halfway through, roughly, I started to suspect who it was. Like, it wasn't until the very end I realised, like, who it was going to become. Like, I knew who the character was, as in, like, the person's name, but I didn't think about what sort of hero/villain he could have been after Arkham Knight. Like, that didn't occur to me. Like, I thought that was awesome. But, yeah, about halfway through, roughly, I figured out who it could have been. So, but yeah, I was never like, yep, it's him. I think it's him, but I was still uncertain. So, but it's what made the game so cool. Like, I was just so interested to get there, to get to the end, to find out who it was. But speaking of getting there and getting to the end, like, this has been going on for over 2 hours now. I did not expect this episode to be this long. I didn't think there was that many questions, especially since I'm recording this on Friday instead of Saturday. So, and I'm starving. My throat is so dry, and my nose is tickling that I'm so dry, which is weird. Didn't think that was a thing. But anyway, so with that being said and done, that brings this Captain's Quarters to an end. Links in the description to the video for that the Crazy Cap video, and also to my series of how to make a walkthrough playthrough. It's just basically me editing Fallout New Vegas. So if you want to check out them, links in the description to them. Any questions or comments that you want to ask me, leave them in the comment section to this video, and I'll get through and I'll answer them in next week's Captain's Quarters. With that being said, my name's Captain Dave. This has been the Captain's Quarters, and I'll catch you guys later.